playgrounds are meant to be a place of joy and innocence, a place where the laughter of children fills the air. But what if the laughter you hear isn't quite what it seems? Across the United States, there are playgrounds where shadows of the past linger, toys move on their own, and the laughter of children continues long after they are gone. Tonight, we explore 25 haunted playgrounds in the U.S., places where whispers echo, swings move by themselves, and the presence of unseen children can be felt by anyone brave enough to stay after dark. Alamo Square Playground in San Francisco, California, is a place that, at first glance, seems like any other urban park. Nestled within the City of South iconic Alamo Square neighborhood, it is surrounded by the rolling hills, drawing families and tourists for its scenic views and recreational spaces. However, beneath the bright sun and the laughter of the living, there are stories that tell of a different kind of presentia, one that belongs to children who no longer walk among the swings and slides. Visitors to Alamo Square Playground have long reported experiences that defy explanation, laughter echoing through empty spaces, swings moving as if pushed by unseen hands, and shadowy figures of children vanishing when approached. These reports suggest that the playground holds echoes of the past, memories of joy and sorrow that continue to linger. Sometimes visible and sometimes only felt that continue to linger. One of the most commonly reported phenomena is the sound of children laughing when the playground is entirely empty. Visitors and local residents have described hearing giggles, playful shouts, and the kind of joyous noises that one would expect from a busy afternoon, even when no one is present. The laughter often seems to come from multiple directions at once, as if unseen children are running along the paths, chasing each other from swings to slides. Some who have experienced this claim that the laughter has a slightly hollow quality, almost like an echo of the past rather than a present sound. A visitor once recounted sitting on a bench during an early morning visit, only to hear the unmistakable sound of tiny feet running across the ground, and laughter coming from the slides behind him, even though he had arrived before the park officially opened, and saw no one there. Another frequently reported occurrence involves the swing sets and other playground equipment moving on their own. Witnesses describe swings gently swaying, slides vibrating, and seesaws tipping as if children invisible to the eye are still playing. These movements often happen without wind or other external influence, lending an otherworldly quality to the phenomena. One mother visiting the park alone late in the afternoon reported seeing a swing sway back and forth as if pushed, though no one was near it. She approached slowly, and as she reached out, the motion stopped abruptly, leaving her with an eerie impression that Summonia or something had been playing just moments before. Shadowy figures of children are perhaps the most striking and unsettling reports associated with Alamo Square Playground. Several visitors have described seeing small, semi-transparent forms moving along the playground, climbing steps, or running across the sand. These figures are usually fleeting, vanishing when approached or when someone tries to focus on them. One teenager exploring the playground after dark reported spotting a group of children at the far end, their forms blurry but unmistakably human, before they dissolve into the shadows as he walked closer. These apparitions are often described as wearing old-fashioned clothing, suggesting connection to children from decades past. The presence of these ghostly figures creates a sense that the playground is not just a location in space, but a bridge between the past and present, a place where memories refuse to be forgotten. Visitors often describe a combination of auditory and visual phenomena that heighten the playground's eerie atmosphere. The laughter of unseen children is sometimes accompanied by the subtle sound of running footsteps, the squeak of swings, or the faint thud of someone jumping from a slide. These sensory experiences often produce a chilling sense of being watched or followed, even when the playground is otherwise empty. Some report sudden feelings of cold, as if the air itself has changed, making the presence of unseen children almost tangible. Paranormal enthusiasts and investigators have documented a variety of anomalies at Alamo Square Playground. Audio recordings capture laughter, footsteps, and the faint cries of children that cannot be attributed to any living person. Long exposure photography has revealed blurry, human-like shapes near swings and slides, sometimes appearing in clusters as though a group of children were playing together. Investigators suggest that the playground's history, coupled with its frequent use over generations, may have left residual energy in the area, energy that manifests as both visual and auditory phenomena experienced by those sensitive to the paranormal. Local lore reinforces the playground's haunted reputation. Stories of laughter echoing through empty spaces, swings moving without wind, shadowy figures of children. Stories of the spirits are shared among residents, passed down as both cautionary tales and reminders of the area's past. Some speculate that the spirits are children who played here long ago, whose lives ended too soon, or whose energy remained tied to the playground itself. Others suggest that the park holds a kind of memory, replaying the joy and playfulness that once filled it, even after those who created it have vanished. Despite its eerie reputation, Alamo Square Playground continues to attract families, tourists, and curious visitors. Many report leaving with vivid recollections of laughter echoing through empty paths, swings moving on their own, and the fleeting sight of shadowy children vanishing into the light or darkness. Alamo Square Playground is more than a park. It is a place where the past continues to interact with the present, where memories of children long gone linger in echoes and shadows, and where those who enter are reminded that some joy and some presentia never truly disappears. Lombard Street Playground in San Francisco, California, is a place that on the surface appears cheerful and inviting with its brightly colored slides, swings, and climbing structures. By day, the laughter of children fills the air, blending with the hum of the city and the gentle rustling of nearby trees. Those who linger after dark often report unsettling phenomena, small shadowy figures darting between slides, the sound of giggling echoing where no children are present, and fleeting glimpses of apparitions searching for playmates who have long since vanished. For many, the playground is more than a recreational space here. It is a site where memories, echoes, and lingering energy intertwine to create an atmosphere both enchanting and eerie. Visitors frequently describe seeing small, dark shapes moving among the play structures in ways that defy explanation. These shadows are often quick and fleeting, darting along slides, climbing frames, or around benches, appearing just out of reach. Witnesses insist that they move with the deliberate curiosity of children, pausing as though observing or inviting interaction. Yet when approached, the shadows vanish instantly, leaving empty playground behind. Locals speculate that these manifestations are remnants of children who once played here, spirits replaying fragments of joy, longing for companions who can no longer join in their games. Giggling is another recurring phenomenon that captures the attention of anyone lingering into the evening hours. Faint at first, the laughter often grows clearer, echoing across the playground in a way that seems to move with visitors. The sound is unmistakably childlike, but no one is visibly present. Some visitors report that the giggles transition abruptly into soft whispers, as if the unseen children are communicating with one another or calling out to passers-by. The combination of sound and shadow creates an atmosphere that is at once playful and unsettling, a reminder of innocence tinged with the unexplained. Apparitions of children are sometimes reported on the playground, often seen sitting on swings, perched at the tops of slides, or wandering among climbing structures. Witnesses describe them as small, semi-transparent figures, their faces often blurred or obscured by distance or lighting. Some observers note that the children appear to be searching, moving from structure to structure as though seeking playmates or attempting to relive moments of past joy. The apparitions are rarely aggressive or frightening in a conventional sense. Rather, their presence evokes a profound sense of melancholy and longing. Visitors frequently report feeling an emotional weight, a mixture of nostalgia and sadness. As though the playground itself remembers the children who once filled it with laughter. Even in the absence of visual phenomena, subtle signs of haunting are frequently experienced. Swings sometimes sway gently without wind, slides creak softly under no apparent weight, and the sound of footsteps echo along empty pathways. Some have reported feeling a sudden chill or the impression of being observed, especially near secluded areas or shadow corners of the playground. Paranormal investigators have recorded anomalous audio during visits, capturing faint giggling, murmured words, and footsteps that cannot be explained by environmental noise. These occurrences often intensify in the evening, when the playground is deserted, and shadows deepen across the structures. The physical layout of Lombard Street Playground contributes to its uncanny character. Its mix of enclosed and open spaces, narrow pathways, and multiple levels allows shadows to appear and vanish suddenly. Overgrown shrubs, trees, and uneven terrain create pockets of darkness that can play tricks on the eye. While some phenomena may be influenced by the natural interplay of light and shadow, the consistency of reports over decades and across multiple witnesses suggests that something more than mere perception is at play. The history of the area adds further context to these experiences. San Francisco's long and layered past includes periods when children played freely in neighborhoods that were later reshaped or abandoned. Many speculate that the spirits of children who spent time in this area and whose lives were cut short or disrupted may linger in a form tied to play and innocence. Whether residual energy from joyful memories or spirits consciously aware of the present, the manifestations at Lombard Street Playground evoke a strong sense of presence and interaction that cannot be easily dismissed. Even during the daytime, subtle impressions of these hauntings persist. Visitors sometimes catch glimpses of movement from a corner of their eye, hear faint giggles or whispers, or feel a strange sense of being watched. Though less intense than at night, these daytime phenomena remind observers that the energy of the playground is constant, waiting for those willing to notice the faint echoes of the past. Lombard Street Playground is more than a recreational space. It is a living testament to memory, innocence, and lingering presence. Shadows darting between slides, unexplained giggling, and the spectral forms of children searching for lost playmates combine to create an environment rich with supernatural intrigue. Those who explore the playground after dark confront not just the structures of play, but the unseen echoes of lives once intertwined with them. For many who leave, the experience lingers, a soft whisper, a fleeting shadow, or the memory of laughter carried on the wind, a reminder that some joysa and some present season never truly fade. Central Park Adventure Playground, nestled within the bustling heart of New York City, seems like an ordinary playground by day, filled with laughter, the squeak of swings, and the scurry of children running across with chips and sand. Yet, as night falls and the park empties, the space transforms into a place where the ordinary blends with the uncanny. Locals and late-night visitors alike have reported experiences that defy explanation, leaving a lingering sense that the playground harbors echoes of the past, and perhaps the spirits of children who once played there. The most commonly reported phenomenon is the swings. By all accounts, the swings move with a gentle, almost rhythmic motion, even when the wind has long died down. Some say the motion resembles the natural swing of a childa's momentum, slow and deliberate, as though invisible children are reliving games from decades past. Those brave enough to approach the swings at night describe a sudden drop in temperature, accompanied by the feeling of being watched. Some have reported whispers just beyond the edge of hearing, small voices calling out their own names or the names of other children, though no one else is in sight. Mysterious footprints appear frequently across the sandy areas of the playground. Witnesses describe them as small, child-sized prints, some fresh, others fading as if the sand itself remembers a long-lost presence. Paranormal investigators have photographed these footprints, noting that they do not match the shoes of any visitors recently in the park. Some theorize that these prints are residual imprints, remnants of children who once played here, their essence imprinted in the earth. Others believe the prints suggest an ongoing presence, spirits who never quite left the playground behind. Beyond the swings and footprints, the air itself seems charged with strange energy. Witnesses have spoken of hearing faint giggles, whispers, and even full sentences in the darkness. The voices often sound urgent, calling out to someone or something long gone. One visitor reported walking past the sandbox at dusk and hearing a soft voice clearly call their name, a voice that was unmistakably that of a child. The sensation was so vivid that the person swore they saw a fleeting shadow dart behind a nearby tree. Others recount seeing figures dart between slides and climbing frames, shadows small and quick, vanishing before they can be fully recognized. Cameras set up by amateur ghost hunters frequently capture orbs of light or indistinct shapes that cannot be explained by passing pedestrians or streetlights. Some historians suggest that the playground's haunted reputation is linked to its long history. Central Park itself dates back to the mid-19th century, a space that has seen countless generations of New Yorkers pass through its paths. In the early 20th century, the Adventure Playground area was one of the few accessible play spaces for children in Manhattan, and records indicate that minor accidents and illnesses were common, as was true in many playgrounds of that era. Whether through tragedy or simply the accumulation of joyful energy, locals believe the area may have retained something of those who came before. Residents who have lived near the park for decades share stories passed down about children seen playing after dark, their laughter echoing from empty slides and swings. Even modern-day visitors have their stories. One couple, visiting after a late movie, reported feeling a tug on the woman's hand as she sat on a swing, though no one was there. The swing began to sway, and a cold breeze brushed past them, unusual in the stillness of a summer night. Another account tells of a man who saw a small figure racing across the playground, stopping just short of the slide, then turning to look at him before vanishing entirely. Some children have spoken of seeing a new friendsa in the sandpit, only to find the area empty moments later. Photographs often capture inexplicable shadows or faint silhouettes where no one was standing. Despidia, or perhaps because for these strange occurrences, the playground continues to be a place of fascination. Paranormal enthusiasts visit with cameras and recording devices, hoping to capture evidence of the phenomena. Writers and storytellers are drawn to the location, inspired by its blend of urban life and lingering mystery. Even police officers on night patrol have reported feeling a sudden chill or hearing laughter that vanishes when investigated. There's a sense that the playground itself is alive with memory, retaining fragments of every game, every squeal of delight, and every whispered secret ever shared within its bounds. The Central Park Adventure Playground embodies the intersection of innocence and the inexplicable. By day, it is a vibrant space, full of life and the unremarkable chaos of children at play. By night, it becomes a liminal space, one where history, memory, and spirit converge. The swings rock gently on their own, footprints trace invisible paths through the sand, and voices call out across empty play areas. Whether one interprets these occurrences as echoes of the past, spiritual remnants, or the imagination heightened by darkness, there is no denying the playground's allure. Visitors leave with a lingering sense that the playground remembers them, that it is alive in some other way when the city sleeps. It is a space where the present meets the past, where the laughter of children, long gone or unseen, continues to echo across the sands, inviting anyone who dares to listen. Even for those who have never encountered the mysterious phenomena firsthand, the stories themselves shape the playground's identity, weaving it into the broader tapestry of Central Park's history. Children who play there today may be unaware of the lingering whispers and shadows, but for those who have stayed late, who have walked among the swings in the silent hours, there is a sense of connection to something unseen, a reminder that some part of childhood never truly leaves. The Adventure Playground remains a testament to the mysteries hidden in plain sight within one of the busiest cities in the world. It is a place of joy, history, and lingering wonder, a location where every creaking swing and soft whisper carries the weight of untold stories, waiting for those willing to notice them. Washington Square Park Playground, nestled in the heart of New York City, is a lively urban space by day, surrounded by historic buildings and the iconic Washington Square Arch. Families gather to play, tourists linger for photos, and the sound of the city mixed with the laughter of children. Yet, beneath the everyday bustle lies a quieter, more unsettling presence. Visitors to the playground have long reported experiences that defy explanation. Shadowy children running across slides, phantom balls bouncing without hands, and sudden cold spots enveloping empty swings. These occurrences suggest that the park may be more than just a place for recreation at it. Maybe a site where echoes of the past linger, interacting with those who pass through. One of the most commonly reported phenomena is the appearance of shadowy children. Witnesses describe fleeting forms darting across the playground, climbing slides, or running through tunnels, only to vanish when approached. These figures are often described as small and indistinct, dark silhouettes that move with a fluidity unlike that of ordinary people. Many visitors have reported feeling a sense of playful energy in the air, as if invisible children are still enjoying the space in the same way that countless others have over the decades. One late afternoon, a jogger passing through noticed a small shadow run up the ladder of a slide. When she looked directly, there was nothing there, but the feeling of being watched and followed lingered for several minutes, accompanied by the faint echo of laughter. Phantom balls bouncing without hands or feet are another frequent occurrence. People have reported seeing balls suddenly roll or bounce across the playground as if being played with, yet no one is present to manipulate them. In some cases, multiple balls appear to move at once, creating the illusion of a group of children playing. One evening, a family staying near the park reported seeing a ball roll down the slide and bounce off the rubberized ground. When they approached, expecting to find another child, the ball remained unmoved and no one was around. These experiences often produce a mix of fascination and unease, as the movement seems deliberate yet entirely inexplicable. Sudden cold spots around swings are another hallmark of the playground's eerie activity. Visitors have reported walking past empty swings and feeling the air suddenly chill, as if an invisible presence has occupied the space. A group of friends exploring the park after sunset once described walking past a swing set when the temperature dropped noticeably, and one of them felt a faint pressure on her shoulder, though no one was nearby. Such tactile sensations add an extra layer of intensity to the visual and auditory phenomena, creating an immersive and unsettling experience. The combination of visual, auditory, and tactile phenomena makes Washington Square Park Playground an unusually immersive site for those sensitive to paranormal activity. Shadows darting across slides, the sound of unseen laughter, moving playground equipment, and the sudden presence of cold air all contribute to an environment that feels alive with unseen energy. Visitors often report a lingering feeling of being followed or watched, even when the park appears completely empty. These experiences leave a strong impression, one that many describe as both fascinating and unnerving. Paranormal enthusiasts and investigators have documented a variety of unusual activity at the playground. Audio recordings often capture laughter, faint footsteps, or the rolling of objects that cannot be explained by natural causes. Long exposure photographs sometimes reveal blurred shapes near slides, tunnels, or swing sets, appearing to move with a playful energy. Thermal imaging occasionally detects pockets of sudden cold in areas where visitors report tactile experiences, suggesting that temperature fluctuations are linked to the presence of unseen entities. Investigators speculate that the energy of children who once played in the park, along with the historical significance of the surrounding area, may have left residual impressions that manifest as these paranormal phenomena. Local lore supports the playground's reputation as a haunted or spiritually active site. Stories of shadowy children, moving balls, and sudden cold spots have been shared for decades, passed down through residents, tourists, and urban explorers. Some speculate that these phenomena are echoes of children from the past, while others suggest the park acts as a repository for playful energy, replaying the joy and activity of previous generations. The consistency of reports over time has contributed to a sense that Washington Square Park Playground is not merely a place of leisure, but a space where past and present can intersect in mysterious ways. Despite its reputation for unusual activity, the playground continues to attract children, families, and visitors from around the city. Many leave with vivid memories of fleeting shadows, moving playground equipment, laughter echoing through empty spaces, and cold spots that seem almost tangible. Washington Square Park Playground is more than just a recreational area. It is a location where the past lingers alongside the present, where unseen energy interacts with the living, and where the echoes of joy play, and even the unexplained continue to make themselves felt long after the park is emptied for night. Lincoln Park Playground in Chicago, Illinois, has long been a beloved destination for families seeking a sunny afternoon of swings, slides, and laughter. Yet beneath its cheerful veneer, some visitors have reported experiences that defy simple explanation. Parents and children alike have recounted fleeting glimpses of figures that seem too small, too ethereal, and too deliberate to be anything but something otherworldly. These are not the usual shadows cast by passing clouds or tricks of the eye caused by late afternoon sunlight. Witnesses describe children peering from behind jungle gyms, their faces pale and hollow-eyed, with smiles that shift suddenly into sorrowful expressions. The laughter that begins as light-hearted often descends into quiet, chilling sobs, leaving an uneasy feeling in the air. The playground itself is typical of many urban parks. Swings that squeak under the weight of children, slides curving towards soft sand, and climbing structures designed for imagination and play. Swings rock when no one is near. Slides seem to slide faster than gravity allows. And seesaws tip up and down as if guided by invisible hands. Local caretakers have checked for wind and mechanical issues, but often find nothing to account for the phenomena. The more people notice these strange movements, the more stories begin to circulate as stories that give the playground a reputation far beyond the ordinary. Some of the earliest accounts come from parents who linger after the sun has begun to dip below the skyline. They speak of seeing small figures dart behind equipment, pausing only for a moment to watch before vanishing entirely. One mother recalls standing by the swings while her own children played nearby. She glanced down the row of empty swings and thought she saw a boy, perhaps 8 or 9, seated on a swing that creaked under his weight. As she called out to him, he simply turned and walked away, dissolving into the air before her eyes. No one else in the park had seen him, and when she ran to check, the swing had swung to a gentle stop on its own. Other witnesses have described sounds that cannot be easily explained. Footsteps, laughter, the quiet patter of someone running along the sand, even when the park is empty. One evening, a jogger recounted hearing a chorus of children laughing behind the jungle gyms. The laughter was joyful at first, but became irregular, almost mournful, until it ended abruptly. When the jogger paused to look, there was no one in sight, only the faint impression of tiny footprints in the sand that faded as if they had never existed. The playground has also been the scene of more intimate and unsettling encounters. A group of teenagers recount a summer evening when they dared each other to explore the park after dark. They had gathered near the slides, swapping stories to make themselves brave, when they began to hear whispers calling their names. Each name sounded familiar, yet no one they knew was present. Shadows flitted between the play's structures, appearing at the edge of their vision and vanishing when directly observed. One teen claims to have felt a gentle tug at her sleeve, only to find no one standing beside her. The group left quickly, their laughter forced and hollow, each feeling the weight of eyes following them even as they fled. Caretakers and city officials are aware of the stories, but offer little explanation. Most attribute them to imagination or suggest that the combination of low light, empty equipment, and a child's natural tendency to imagine playmates could account for the reports. But even skeptics admit there is something undeniably strange about Lincoln Park Playground. The unexplained movement of swings and seesaws, the footprints that appear and vanish, and the consistency of the sightings across decades suggest that these are more than just casual illusions. The unexplained movement of swings and seesaws, the footprints that appear and vanish, and the consistency of the sightings across decades suggest that these are more than just casual illusions. Interestingly, some locals have embraced the park's haunted reputation, treating it as part of its character rather than a source of fear. Children continue to play, sometimes daring one another to venture further into shadowy corners where apparitions are most often seen. Storytelling sessions often involve tales of laughing and weeping children, of friendly ghosts who wish only to join in the fun. Parents, while cautious, often share the stories as warnings, not to instill fear, but to teach respect for the unexplained and the history embedded within the park. The Parka's paranormal reputation has even drawn visitors from outside the neighborhood. Enthusiasts armed with cameras, audio recorders, and notebooks have spent nights watching and listening for evidence of the unexplained. Some have captured fleeting images of blurred figures, strange light anomalies, or the subtle movement of equipment that seems to defy logic. Audio recordings occasionally pick up giggles, whispers, or cries that vanish as quickly as they are detected. Though these recordings are often debated, they add to the enduring mystique of Lincoln Park Playground. Yet despite the eerie tales, the park remains a place of joy and recreation. Families continue to visit, children continue to climb and swing, and the laughter of both human and spectrala continues to echo across the open spaces. The apparitions, if they exist, seem content to watch and sometimes play, never harming, only reminding visitors that not everything in the world can be explained. Lincoln Park Playground stands as a unique intersection of joy and mystery, where the boundary between the living and the unseen is thin, and where the echoes of laughter and sorrow coexist on swings, slides, and jungle gyms. For those who walk the park at dusk, there's a sense that the playground itself is alive with memories, a space where stories linger in the air and where the energy of Childrina, present and perhaps not entirely pasta, continues to shape the environment. It is this blending of the ordinary and the inexplicable that makes Lincoln Park Playground both beloved and haunting, a place where every creaking swing and shifting shadow invites visitors to wonder, imagine, and sometimes, just sometimes, see something that cannot be fully understood. Grant Park Playground, located in the heart of Chicago, is a popular destination for families during the day. Children run across the monkey bars, swing back and forth with carefree laughter, and chase balls across the grassy fields. But as night descends and the crowds fade, the playground takes on eerier, almost otherworldly presence. Locals, late-night joggers, and occasional hikers passing through have reported experiences that seem to defy explanation, suggesting that the playground holds more than just memories of daytime fun. The most frequent reports involve the swings. Visitors describe seeing them move gently, even when there is no breeze. The swings sway in a smooth, rhythmic motion, almost as if invisible children are still playing. On some nights, witnesses claim the swings rise high, reaching the same height they would if a child were pumping their legs with enthusiasm, only to slow and stop abruptly, leaving the observer staring in disbelief. Those brave enough to approach often feel sudden chills, as if the air itself has grown heavier. And some report hearing faint giggles, or the soft creak of chains, despite the absence of any human presence. Another strange phenomenon is the appearance of shadowy figures on the playground equipment. Joggers have reported seeing small, fleeting silhouettes darting across slides, running along monkey bars, or disappearing into the darkness near the climbing structures. These figures are often described as child-sized, moving quickly and silently. When approached, they vanish as if they were never there. Photographs and security footage occasionally capture these movements as vague blurs or indistinct shapes, defying logical explanation. Some researchers suggest that these shadows are echoes of past activity, remnants of Childrina's energy left behind after years of play. Others believe they could be spirits lingering in a space they once loved. Bouncing balls are another recurring element of the playground's nighttime mysteries. Witnesses often describe a sense of tension, a feeling that they're intruding on a private game, or that the playground itself is alive and watching. In some cases, balls have been seen moving along a path, up a slide, or over a swing set, almost as if guided by unseen players. The air around these occurrences often feels cooler, and the sound of the city seems to fade, leaving only the faint echoes of play and laughter. Locals say that the history of the area might help explain the strange phenomena. Grant Park has been part of Chicago since the 19th century, serving as a place for recreation, festivals, and public gatherings. Over the decades, the playground areas have seen countless children come and go, playing from sunrise to sunset. Stories of minor accidents and long-ago incidents circulate in whispers, though records are sparse. Some believe the repeated presence of children's energy, joy, and occasional sadness has left a lingering imprint, creating a kind of residual memory that surfaces under certain conditions. Even contemporary visitors have experienced unsettling moments. A jogger late one evening described rounding a corner and seeing a ball bounce toward them across the sand without anyone nearby. When they picked it up, the ball seemed to have a faint warmth, as if recently touched, though no other person was in sight. Another visitor recalled sitting on a swing at night, feeling a light tap on their shoulder, followed by the sensation of the swing being pushed gently, as if someone unseen was joining them in the play. On several occasions, people have heard whispered names, soft calls they come play, and faint laughter carried on the windless night, leaving them with an uncanny sense of not being alone. Photographers and paranormal investigators have tried to capture these strange events. Many report capturing orbs of light, faint shadows, or distortions in video footage that cannot be attributed to ordinary objects or lighting. Some investigators suggest that the playground serves as a hotspot for residual energy, where playful memories or spirits manifest in small, fleeting ways. Others caution that the environment itself, with its combination of darkness, reflective surfaces, and urban sounds, can trick the senses. Though even skeptics admit that the consistent nature of reports is difficult to ignore. Despite its reputation for nighttime oddities, Grant Park Playground remains a cherished space by day. Children-esque laughter, the bouncing of balls, and the creak of swings fill the area with life and joy. Yet, there is a sense among those who have experienced the unexplained that the playground is more than it seems. The swings, the shadows, and the bouncing balls suggest a presence that moves between play and something otherworldly, leaving visitors both captivated and unnerved. The park's strange occurrences have become part of its lore, attracting curious visitors who seek a glimpse of the inexplicable. Hikers, joggers, and night explorers often report heightened awareness when passing to the playground, sensing that they are being observed, or that the playground itself has a memory of its past inhabitants. The phenomena, whether they are residual energy, spirits, or simply tricks of perception to leave an indelible impression on those who witness them, change in the way they see this familiar space. Grant Park Playground stands as a place where the ordinary intersects with the mysterious. By day, it is a lively haven for children and families. By night, it becomes a site of wonder and unease, where swings sway without hands, balls move seemingly on their own, and shadowy figures dart along slides and monkey bars. Visitors leave with stories that they share with friends, neighbors, and fellow night wanderers, ensuring that the playground's enigmatic reputation continues to grow. Those who venture there after dark find themselves stepping into a space where past and present converge, and where the echoes of play linger long after the last child has gone home. The playground is a reminder that even in the heart of a bustling city, some places retain the energy and presence of those who came before. Every swing, every ball, every shadow carries a story, a fragment of memory, and a touch of mystery, waiting for anyone who dares to notice it. City Park Playground in New Orleans, Louisiana, is a space that appears, at first glance, filled with the cheerful energy of children, families, and tourists exploring the vast greens of one of the city's most beloved parks. Towering oaks, winding paths, and historic attractions surround the playground, creating a picturesque environment that has drawn visitors for generations. Yet beneath the laughter and the bright sunshine lies a quieter, more mysterious presence that has intrigued and unsettled those who have encountered it. Visitors to City Park Playground have long reported experiences that cannot be explained by ordinary means. Children in vintage clothing running along the paths, laughter echoing from empty areas, and toys rolling across the ground with no one nearby. These phenomena suggest that the playground is not just a place of recreation, but also a site where memories of the past linger, interacting with the present in unexpected ways. One of the most frequently reported experiences involves the sighting of children in vintage clothing. Witnesses describe small figures darting along the playground paths, climbing the slides, or running through tunnels, their attire reminiscent of decades past. The children are often fleeting, disappearing when approached or when someone tries to get a closer look. Visitors have reported that these figures move with a playful energy, as though engaged in games invisible to the living eye. One early morning visitor recalled seeing a group of 3 children in clothing from the 1920s running near the carousel and weaving between trees. When she approached to see them more clearly, the figures vanished, leaving no trace behind except the feeling of having seen something impossible. Many who have experienced these apparitions believe they're the echoes of children who once played in the park, their spirits lingering in the very areas where laughter and games were once common. Unexplained laughter is another hallmark of city park playground paranormal activity. Visitors have reported hearing giggles, playful shouts, and the sounds of children calling to one another, even when the playground is completely empty. The laughter often seems to come from multiple directions at once, filling the air in a way that feels both joyful and haunting. In some instances, the laughter is accompanied by the sound of running footsteps or the faint squeak of playground equipment moving without human touch. One evening, a group of teenagers exploring the park after hours described hearing high-pitched laughter echoing across the paths, growing louder as they approached the center of the playground, and then fading abruptly as if the unseen children had vanished into thin air. This auditory phenomenon often leaves visitors with a sense of both wonder and unease, blurring the line between the past and the present. Toys moving on their own are another frequently reported phenomenon. Balls, dolls, or small ride-on toys have been seen rolling across the ground or shifting slightly as though handled by invisible hands. Witnesses report that these movements happen without wind, without anyone nearby, and without any mechanical explanation. One mother visiting with her child reported seeing a small toy wagon slowly move down a gentle slope, as if propelled by unseen fingers, stopping only when it reached the bottom of the path. Paranormal investigators have suggested that these occurrences may represent residual energy left behind by the children who once played in the park, manifesting as objects moving in a playful, though unearthly, manner. The combination of visual, auditory, and tactile experiences creates a deeply immersive environment within City Park Playground. Shadowy figures, laughter from empty spaces, and moving toys are often accompanied by sudden chills, the sensation of being watched, or a subtle pressure on the shoulder or back. Visitors have reported feeling the presence of unseen children nearby, sometimes catching glimpses of them from the corner of their eye. These sensory experiences reinforce the impression that the playground is not just a physical space, but a living memory, replaying moments of joy, play, and life that continue to echo across generations. Paranormal teams investigating City Park Playground have documented a variety of anomalies. Audio recordings frequently capture laughter, whispers, and the faint sounds of footsteps or playground equipment moving without cause. Long exposure photography has revealed semi-transparent figures near slides and pathways, often appearing in groups as if engaged in play. Thermal imaging sometimes detects pockets of sudden cold air, particularly near areas associated with historical activity or older sections of the park. Investigators suggest that the playground retains the emotional energy of children who once played there, leaving behind echoes that manifest as visual, auditory, and tactile phenomena. Local lore has preserved the playground's reputation as a site of unusual activity. Stories of children in vintage clothing, phantom laughter, and toys moving on their own have been shared among residents. Phantom laughter and toys moving on their own have been shared among residents, park staff, and visitors for decades. Many speculate that these phenomena are tied to children who lived and played in the area long ago, their spirits lingering to recreate moments of joy and play, while others suggest park itself acts as a receptacle for memory, preserving the energy of past generations. Despite its haunting reputation, City Park Playground remains a popular destination for families and tourists alike. Many visitors leave with vivid memories of fleeting figures in vintage clothing. laughter echoing through empty paths, and toys rolling across the ground without explanation. City Park Playground is more than a recreational area. It is a space where the past continues to interact with the present, where the energy of children long gone lingers in playful echoes, and where the presence of the unseen reminds visitors that some memories never truly fade. Audubon Park Playground in New Orleans, Louisiana, is known for its sprawling oak trees, winding pathways, and spaces designed for children to run, swing, and climb. By day, the playground is a lively mosaic of families enjoying picnics, children racing through slides, and parents watching from benches beneath the shade of moss-draped trees. Yet, as the afternoon light fades and the humidity of the city evening settles in, a different presence seems to emerge here, one that defies the ordinary rhythms of play. Locals have long whispered of strange occurrences here, experiences that leave a lingering chill despite the park's otherwise serene charm. Visitors have reported feeling sudden brushes against their arms or hands when no one is near. One mother recounts an evening when she was walking along a quiet path, her toddler in a stroller beside her. A small, cold hand seemed to graze her own, light and fleeting, causing her to look around instinctively. No child was nearby, no passerby close enough to make contact. She later learned that others had experienced similar sensations, a phenomenon that seemed specific to the playground area itself. These touches are gentle, almost hesitant, yet unmistakably present, leaving a tingling awareness of something unseen. The playground equipment, too, seems animated by forces not of this world. Swings sway lightly when empty. Slides appear slick with dew or condensation that wasn't there moments before. And the jungle gyms creak with a rhythm that doesn't correspond to wind or nearby traffic. One evening, a young couple playing fetch with their dog noticed the seesaw tipping subtly up and down on its own, the motion delicate yet consistent, as if an invisible child were occupying the other end. By the time they approached, the movement had ceased, leaving the equipment still and ordinary once more. Audubon Park's eerie reputation is reinforced by the sounds that visitors often hear when the playground is quiet. Faint giggles, soft and high-pitched, echo across the open spaces. Some describe the laughter as playful and innocent at first, quickly shifting into something elusive and haunting, fading into the thick New Orleans mist that drifts in from nearby lagoons. Joggers, evening walkers, and late-night caretakers alike report these sounds, noting that the source is never visible, always just out of reach. The giggles seem almost to follow individuals, appearing behind them one moment, and dissolving into silence the next, leaving an uneasy awareness of unseen eyes. Sightings of apparitions further deepen the playground's mysterious atmosphere. Witnesses describe small figures darting between the slides and climbing frames, too quick to follow with the naked eye, vanishing into patches of mist that roll in from the park's tree line. One teenager recounts a summer evening spent sitting on a swing, when a childlike figure appeared briefly on the adjacent jungle gym, pausing as though observing before melting into fog. The apparition had features that were indistinct, almost blurred, yet its presence was undeniable, leaving a lingering impression on the air that was both cold and unmistakably alive. Caretakers and local officials often hear these stories, though they rarely offer explanations beyond the ordinary. Some suggest that the dense oak canopy and frequent fog create optical illusions, while others point to the vivid imagination of children and families. Yet skeptics who have spent hours in the playground have often admitted to experiencing events that cannot easily be dismissed. The combination of tactile sensations, disembodied laughter, and fleeting figures is consistent enough across decades to suggest something beyond mere coincidence or imagination. Many locals have grown accustomed to the park's enigmatic presence, treating it less as a source of fear and more as a part of its character. Children continue to play freely, and parents sometimes share the tales of unseen playmates as cautionary stories or as whimsical additions to an evening stroll. Some even believe the spirits are playful, lingering to watch over children, their touches and laughter reminders of past generations who once ran along the same sand and climbed the same equipment. Paranormal enthusiasts have been drawn to Audubon Park for years, hoping to capture proof of the unexplained. Cameras set up near swings have occasionally recorded faint blurs, shapes that seem to appear and vanish in the mist. Audio devices pick up whispers, the soft cadence of voices calling names that do not match any present. Some have claimed to hear tiny footsteps padding along wooden beams or the rustle of leaves, as if children were darting between trees and slides. While these recordings are often debated, they add to the park's mystique and continue to attract visitors eager to experience the phenomena firsthand. Despite the chilling accounts, Audubon Park Playground remains a place of life, laughter, and human joy. Families picnic beneath the oak trees, children race down slides, and swings squeak in time with the wind and the laughter of the living. Yet the unseen presencia, small hands brushing, giggles echoing, apparitions vanishing into mist, remains a quiet companion to the everyday activity. There's a sense that the park holds memories of those who played there long ago, that the energy of children past lingers alongside those of present, intertwined in ways that are intangible yet deeply felt. Even in the brightest afternoons, there is an air of anticipation, a subtle reminder that the playground exists not just in the world of the living, but in a place where past and present overlap. Visitors feel it in the sudden chill of a breeze, the unexpected sway of a swing, or the fleeting shadow of a small figure at the edge of their vision. For those who linger long enough, the line between the ordinary and the inexplicable becomes thinner, and the stories of Audubon Park Playground continue to grow, whispered from one generation to the next, a testament to the unseen joys and mysteries that inhabit this beloved New Orleans space. Balboa Park Playground in San Diego, California, is a place of laughter and activity by day, where families gather and children fill the air with their joyful shouts. Brightly colored slides, climbing structures, and swings invite endless hours of play, and the surrounding park offers a perfect backdrop of greenery and walking paths. Yet as evening falls and the sun dips behind the horizon, the playground takes on a different character, one that visitors have described as both eerie and compelling. Stories circulate among locals and nighttime visitors of strange happenings that defy explanation, suggesting that the playground is more than just a site for daytime recreation. The most commonly reported phenomenon involves the swings. Witnesses often describe seeing them moving in the twilight hours, back and forth with no wind or visible push. The motion is slow and deliberate, as if invisible children are reliving games long past. One visitor recounted arriving just before sunset to find the swings rising and falling gently. They approached cautiously, and the closer they got, the more distinct the creaking became, accompanied by the faint sound of laughter. Yet when they glanced around, the area was empty. Some who have seen these swings at night report a sudden drop in temperature, as if the air itself carries the weight of unseen playmates. Others claim to hear soft whispers calling out names, often names that do not belong to anyone currently present, further adding to the unsettling atmosphere. Unexplained footprints are another frequent occurrence. Small, child-sized impressions appear in sand or along the soft play surfaces, leading to swings, slides, or climbing frames, only to vanish abruptly. Many observers note that these prints do not match the shoes or clothing of anyone in the vicinity. On several occasions, footprints have been reported leading uphill against the natural slope of the terrain, or appearing mid-path with no discernible origin. Paranormal enthusiasts and photographers have captured images of these prints, sometimes showing faint shadows moving along with them. The mystery deepens when some footprints simply fade in place, as if the children who left them vanished before completing their route. Balls rolling on their own is another phenomenon that visitors frequently report. Parents and parkgoers describe seeing small playground balls move across the sand up ramps and even seemingly uphill, defying the basic laws of gravity. One evening, a jogger witnessed a brightly colored ball bounce along the path toward a swing, then stopping just short, only to roll again moments later, as if pushed by an unseen hand. Others have reported multiple balls moving at once, as if an invisible game is unfolding across the empty playground. The movement is often accompanied by faint sounds of laughter or the occasional thud of a ball hitting a surface, even when no one else is present. Many of the unexplained occurrences are thought to be tied to the long history of Balboa Park itself. The park has served as a center of recreation, culture, and community gatherings for over a century. Its playground areas have welcomed generations of children, some of whom may have had accidents or untimely misfortunes while playing. Locals speculate that the joyful energy, combined with occasional sorrow, may have left traces that manifest under certain conditions, particularly during twilight or the quiet hours of the night. Some historians suggest that the playground, with its enduring presence and community, carries residual energy from past visitors. While paranormal enthusiasts believe spirits of children may still linger, drawn to a place they once loved, visitors have their own stories to add. One woman visiting in the late evening described seeing a shadowy figure dart across the slide, small and quick, disappearing when she turned her head. Another father reported hearing the unmistakable sound of a ball bouncing behind him, only to find the area empty when he looked back. Hikers and joggers often speak of the unsettling feeling of being watched, or the sudden sensation of cold air brushing against them in moments of stillness. Photographs taken during these encounters sometimes show vague orbs of light or faint silhouettes, lending visual evidence to experiences that seem to defy ordinary explanation. Despite these strange events, Balboa Park Playground remains a beloved place by day. Children continue to play, laughter fills the air, and families enjoy the open space, oblivious to the subtle phenomena that appear after sunset. Yet for those who have witnessed the unexplained, the playground is a place where the ordinary and extraordinary intersect, where swings move without hands, balls roll uphill, and footprints appear from nowhere. The stories of these nightly occurrences are shared among locals, nighttime visitors, and paranormal enthusiasts, creating a layer of intrigue that adds to the park's enduring charm. The playground-esque twilight activity has become a quiet legend in San Diego. People who frequent the area at night describe it as a place where the past and present converge. Every movement of swing, every rolling ball, and every mysterious footprint seems to carry the energy of children long gone, yet never truly forgotten. For those willing to linger after dark, there is a palpable sense of connection to the playground's history, a reminder that spaces of joy can leave lingering echoes that defy explanation. Balboa Park Playground stands as a space where innocence and mystery meet. By day, it is full of life, bright colors, and laughter. By night, it becomes a realm of quiet wonder and subtle spookiness. Where shadows of children swing in the twilight, balls defy gravity, and footprints tell stories that lead nowhere, it is a place that invites observation, reflection, and perhaps a touch of cautious curiosity, reminding all who enter that some places hold memories and energies that extend far beyond what the eye can see. Even for those who have not personally experienced the unexplained, the stories of Balboa Park Playground serve to shape its identity, turning a familiar recreational space into a site of mystery and fascination. It is a reminder that every playground carries the echoes of past play, and that some games, laughter, and shadows linger long after the park is emptied, waiting for someone to notice. Forest Park Playground in St. Louis, Missouri, is a place of greenery, laughter, and recreation during the day, nestled within one of the city's largest and most historic parks. Visitors stroll along shaded paths, families gather for picnics, and children fill the playground with joyful energy. Yet as the sun dips below the horizon and shadows stretch across the park, a different presence begins to make itself known. For decades, visitors have reported experiences that defy explanation. Laughter echoing through empty playgrounds, swings moving despite calm weather, and fleeting apparitions of children chasing invisible friends. These accounts suggest that Forest Park Playground may hold lingering memories of past joy, or perhaps something far more mysterious. One of the most frequently reported phenomena is the sound of children's laughter after dark. Witnesses describe hearing high-pitched giggles and playful shouts. The laughter often seems to come from multiple directions at once, as though several children are running, climbing, and calling to one another along paths and slides. Visitors often find the sounds both enchanting and unnerving, creating the impression that the playground is alive with unseen energy. One night, a local jogger recounted hearing laughter coming from the slide area while she was alone on the path. She paused, expecting to see children playing, but the playground was entirely empty. The laughter continued for several minutes, echoing through the trees, before fading into silence, leaving her with an eerie sense of being observed. Swing sets moving despite calm weather are another hallmark of Forest Park Playground's haunted reputation. Numerous visitors have described seeing swings sway back and forth or even spin in circles without any wind or human interaction. Some report that the swings appear to move rhythmically, as if invisible children are playing and taking turns. A young father recalled pushing his own child on a swing during the late afternoon, only to see an adjacent swing begin moving on its own. When he approached, the motion stopped and the air seemed heavier, as though an unseen presence had been holding the swing in motion. These inexplicable movements are often accompanied by the faint sound of footsteps or giggles, suggesting a connection between the auditory and visual phenomena. Apparitions of children chasing invisible friends are perhaps the most striking experiences reported by visitors. Witnesses describe fleeting figures of small children darting across the playground, climbing ladders, or sliding down slides, only to vanish when approached. These figures are often seen in groups, running and playing as though participating in games that cannot be perceived by the living. Some visitors report seeing children pause mid-run to look around, their translucent forms appearing momentarily solid before dissolving into thin air. One evening, a teenager exploring the playground alone described seeing 3 children chasing each other near the sandbox, their laughter filling the air. As she stepped closer to get a better look, the children disappeared entirely. The combination of auditory and visual phenomena creates a compelling and immersive environment. The playground is not merely a physical space, but seems to hold echoes of past activity, replaying moments of play and joy for those who enter after dark. Visitors often report feeling watched, sensing unseen presences nearby, or experiencing sudden chills and gusts of cold air. Some describe the subtle sensation of being brushed by something invisible, reinforcing the sense that the playground is occupied by unseen children who continue their play unseen by human eyes. Paranormal investigators have documented numerous anomalies at Forest Park Playground. Audio recordings frequently capture laughter, footsteps, and whispers of playful speech that cannot be attributed to any living person. Long exposure photography sometimes reveals semi-transparent figures near swings, slides, and climbing structures. Thermal imaging has detected pockets of sudden cold in areas where apparitions and movement have been reported, suggesting a connection between environmental changes and paranormal activity. Experts propose that the energy of children who once frequented the playground, or even tragic events that occurred in the area, may have left residual impressions that manifest in these haunting experiences. Local lore preserves the playground's reputation for unusual activity. Stories of laughter echoing through empty spaces, moving swings, and ghostly children chasing invisible friends are shared among visitors, residents, and park employees. Some believe these phenomena are echoes of children from decades past, replaying familiar games and laughter. Others suggest that the park itself, with its long history and abundant memories, acts as a vessel, preserving the emotional energy of past generations and manifesting it in ways that the living can perceive. Despite its eerie reputation, Forest Park Playground remains a popular destination for families, tourists, and those curious about its haunted history. Many visitors leave with vivid memories of laughter echoing through empty slides, swings moving on their own, and the fleeting sight of children chasing unseen playmates. Forest Park Playground is more than a recreational space. It is a location where the past continues to interact with the present, where energy and memory linger in echoes and shadows, where those who enter are reminded that the joy and presence of children is seen and unseen and never truly fades. Independence Park Playground in Charlotte, North Carolina, has long been a favorite spot for families seeking a place for children to play beneath the shade of sprawling trees. During the day, the playground hums with life. Children race along slides, swing high into the air, and climb jungle gyms while parents watch nearby. Yet, as evening approaches and the sun dips low behind the horizon, some visitors begin to notice that the playground takes on a different character, one that hints at something unseen and inexplicable. Locals and frequent visitors alike have shared stories of experiences that defy simple explanation, involving shadowy figures, disembodied laughter, and swings that move on their own. Many accounts focus on shadowy figures appearing along the slides. Witnesses describe glimpses of dark, child-sized silhouettes that seem to linger at the top or base of slides, often vanishing when approached directly. One father recalls pushing his daughter on a swing in the late afternoon when he noticed a small figure at the top of the spiral slide, standing still as though watching. He blinked, and it was gone, leaving only the faintest ripple in the air, as if something had moved through it. Another visitor described seeing a pair of shadows dart between the climbing frames, too fast and fluid to be real children, and leaving the impression that someone or something was playing along unseen. Unexplained giggling is another common phenomenon reported at Independence Park Playground. Many claim to have heard high-pitched laughter echoing through empty areas of the park, often coming from slides, tunnels, or under benches where no children are present. One evening, a young couple walking their dog reported hearing laughter ripple across the playground, starting softly and then growing louder before abruptly cutting off. They searched the area, calling out, but the playground was empty except for them. The laughter had no discernible source, yet it felt deliberate, as if someone were observing and interacting with them from the shadows. The swings, too, have a life of their own. Visitors often report seeing them rock back and forth in sudden gusts of cold wind, even on evenings when the air is still and warm. One man recalls pausing by a row of empty swings, noticing that one in particular was moving steadily, as if an invisible child were swinging on it. He stepped closer, and it came to a complete stop, with the chain falling silent. Others have recounted similar experiences, sometimes feeling the chill of cold air wash over them at the same moment, as though a ghostly presence had passed. Several reports also describe the feeling of being watched. Visitors walking alone or in small groups have mentioned the sensation of eyes following them from the shadows, of being aware of presences just beyond their line of sight. Parents pushing strollers or jogging along the pathways often glance toward empty slides or jungle gyms, feeling a sudden sense of unease when no one is there. Some say the figures seem playful, darting between structures and disappearing, while others describe a more somber or melancholy energy, as if the shadows are remnants of children long gone. Caretakers and city officials often hear these stories, but usually provide rational explanations, citing imagination, fading light, or the natural movements of wind and tree branches. Yet the experiences shared by visitors are consistent and frequent enough to suggest that something unusual is happening at Independence Park Playground. Those who have witnessed these phenomena often return, compelled by curiosity or a sense of connection to the park's mysterious side. A sense of connection to the park's mysterious side, as if the park is calling to them, drawing them back in. Paranormal enthusiasts have also taken interest in the playground, bringing cameras, recording devices, and other tools to capture evidence of the unexplained. Some claim to have captured blurred figures moving near slides or swings, faint whispers on audio devices, or sudden temperature drops detected by handheld thermometers. Even skeptics admit that the playground's unique combination of sound, shadow, and movement creates an atmosphere that is difficult to explain, especially when experienced after sunset. Despite these eerie reports, Independence Park Playground continues to be a place of joy, laughter, and recreation. Families still gather to picnic. Children climb and slide, and the everyday sound of play fill the air. Yet for those attuned to the subtle shifts in temperature, the fleeting shadows, and the faint giggles that seem to echo from nowhere, There is a sense that the playground is shared with unseen companions. The shadows, the laughter, and the rocking swing suggest that the spirit of play persists. Beyond what is visible, a lingering presence that moves with the rhythms of childhood, but remains hidden from view. The interplay between the ordinary and the extraordinary is what gives Independence Park Playground its unique character. On bright afternoons, it is simply a place to play. But as evening descends, it becomes a space where the boundary between the living and the unseen feels remarkably thin. Every creak of a swing, every ripple of shadow across the slides, and every echo of laughter in the empty areas serves as a reminder that some presences remain even after the last child has gone home. For visitors willing to pay attention, the playground offers a rare glimpse into a world where joy and mystery coexist, and where the echoes of past playmates continue to linger alongside the living. Freedom Park Playground in Raleigh, North Carolina, is a familiar sight for families during the day, a place where children laugh, swing, and climb across brightly colored equipment. The park's expansive fields, shaded paths, and playground structures make it a hub of activity, drawing visitors from nearby neighborhoods and beyond. Yet as the sun sets and the laughter fades, the playground transforms into a space that locals and nighttime visitors describe as uncanny, where ordinary play gives way to inexplicable phenomena. Those who have spent time at the park after dark often report experiences that defy explanation, suggesting that the playground holds echoes of the past, and perhaps remnants of children who once played there. The most frequently reported experiences involve apparitions of children. Witnesses describe seeing fleeting figures running across slides, darting between swings, or hiding momentarily behind climbing frames. These apparitions are often described as small and childlike, moving with an energy that is familiar and innocent, yet impossible to trace. Some observers have described the figures as partially translucent, fading in and out of view, or vanishing entirely when approached. One resident recounted standing near a sandbox at dusk and seeing a group of children playing, their laughter ringing clear, only for the entire scene to disappear as they blinked. Others have reported seeing a lone figure gently swinging, the swing moving in perfect rhythm. Yet no one else is present in the playground. Toys moving on their own are another common phenomenon. Balls, small wagon, and toy trucks have been reported rolling or shifting without human contact. Witnesses often describe toys moving across sandy areas, up slides, or along paths in ways that defy the natural slope of the terrain. One evening, a jogger passing the playground noticed a brightly colored ball rolling toward the swings, then suddenly veering off and coming to stop in the middle of the sandpit. Attempt to pick it up or move it resulted in the ball returning to its original spot moments later, as if guided by an unseen hand. These small, unexplained movements create a sense that the playground itself is alive, animated by the lingering energy of children who once played there. Perhaps the most chilling experiences involve voices calling out names. Locals frequently report hearing a childa's voice calling to them, often using names of children long vanished from the area, or names they do not recognize at all. The voices are described as urgent yet soft, sometimes repeating a single name over and over, or calling for a friendsa to join in play. One visitor described walking past the swings at night and hearing their own name called in a small, clear voice, leaving them frozen with a mixture of fear and curiosity. In other accounts, the voices seem to come from different directions, at once echoing across the playground, then fading suddenly, as if the children have vanished into thin air. Historians and locals suggest that the playground's unusual activity may be tied to its long history. Freedom Park has served the Raleigh community for decades, providing a safe space for children to play and for families to gather. Over time, countless generations of children have laughed, cried, and played across its equipment, leaving behind a layered history of energy, memory, and emotion. While tragic events are sometimes rumored to have occurred in the area, it is more commonly thought that the playground retains a residual presence of those who spent time there, a lingering imprint of joy, play, and innocence. that occasionally manifests in ways the living can perceive. Those who have encountered these phenomena often describe a mixture of awe and unease. One mother recounted seeing a shadowy figure climb the monkey bars before vanishing, leaving her with a lingering sense that she had witnessed a fragment of a past game. A group of friends exploring the park at night reported hearing small voices laughing and calling names while balls rolled across the sand without anyone touching them. Photographs taken during these experiences often capture faint blurs, shadowy outlines, or orbs of light hovering over the equipment, adding visual evidence to accounts that are otherwise difficult to explain. Even park staff occasionally report strange occurrences. Swings moving on windless nights, sand displaced in patterns that suggest recent play, or the faint sound of children laughing when the playground is empty, Despite the mysteries, Freedom Park Playground remains a beloved space by day. Childrina-esque laughter fills the air, families picnic on the surrounding grass, and the playground thrives with activity. Yet for those who linger after dark, the playground takes on a new character. The apparitions, the moving toys, and the mysterious voices create a sense of continuity between past and present. A subtle reminder that spaces of play carry with them the energy of those who once used them. Visitors who experience these phenomena often leave with a heightened sense of awareness, sensing that the playground remembers its past visitors and continues to echo their presence long after the park is emptied. The playground-esque reputation has grown through word of mouth, stories shared among locals, and accounts by those who visit during the quiet hours. People who pass through after sunset speak of the sensation of being observed, the fleeting glimpses of figures in the corner of their vision, and the feeling that the playground is alive in a way that transcends ordinary experience. The phenomena, whether interpreted as residual energy, spirits, or simply the imagination heightened by darknessa, have become part of the identity of Freedom Park, adding an element of mystery to an otherwise familiar recreational space. Freedom Park Playground stands as a testament to the way spaces can hold memory. By day, it is full of laughter, movement, and color. By night, it becomes a place where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, where toys move without hands, voices call out from unseen corners, and apparitions of children remind visitors that some energies linger long after the last game has ended. It is a place where the past and present meet, a playground that preserves fragments of childhood, waiting quietly for those who are willing to notice. Even for those who have never personally experienced the unexplained, the stories surrounding Freedom Park Playground shape its character, transforming a familiar city space into a location of intrigue and reflection. It is a reminder that every playground carries with it echoes of the past, and that some laughter, some play, and some presence remain hidden in the shadows, ready to be witnessed by those who linger after dark. Bicentennial Park Playground in Nashville, Tennessee, is a place that, by day, radiates the typical energy of a city park. Families gather near the fountains, children climb on jungle gyms, and visitors pause to enjoy the sprawling green spaces and scenic views. Yet, as the sun dips lower and the crowds thin, some report a far different atmosphere, one that is at once eerie and inexplicably alive. For decades, witnesses have shared stories of shadowy children running along jungle gyms, sudden chills sweeping to park, and laughter echoing across empty paths, suggesting that Bicentennial Park Playground holds more than just the memories of the living. One of the most commonly reported phenomena is the sighting of shadowy children. Visitors describe fleeting, indistinct figures darting across the playground. These apparitions are rarely seen in detail, appearing instead as dark silhouettes, but their movements are unmistakably childlike. Many people have reported that when they approach or attempt to get a closer look, the figures vanish as if they were never there. One jogger recounted running past the playground late in the evening and seeing a small childa-esque shadow cross the path in front of him. As he slowed to watch, the figure dissipated, leaving behind only the sensation of movement and a faint feeling of being watched. Witnesses often interpret these sightings as echoes of children from the past, lingering to relive moments of play and joy in a place they once frequented. Unexplained laughter is another hallmark of the playground's strange reputation. Visitors have reported hearing giggles and cheerful shouts when no one else is present, the sound bouncing off jungle gyms, slides, and empty benches. The laughter often seems to come from multiple directions at once, creating the impression of children playing a game just out of sight. On one particularly quiet night, a local artist sketching the fountains heard the sound of laughter rising from the playground. She followed the sound, expecting to see children, but the playground was completely deserted. The laughter continued for several moments, echoing faintly as she left, leaving a lingering sense of presence and unease. Sudden chills in the air are frequently reported alongside these visual and auditory experiences. Visitors often describe the temperature dropping noticeably in specific areas of playground, particularly near jungle gyms, swings, or along shaded paths. These cold spots can appear abruptly, sometimes accompanied by a sense of invisible pressure or the impression that someone or something is standing nearby. One evening, a couple walking their dog felt a sharp drop in temperature as they passed an empty swing set. The air seemed heavier, and the sound of distant footsteps echoed briefly before fading entirely. These chilling sensations reinforce the idea that the park is a space where unseen forces are at play, interacting with the living in subtle but undeniable ways. In addition to visual, auditory, and tactile experiences, some visitors report other unexplained phenomena at Bicentennial Park Playground. Toys left unattended may roll or shift slightly, as if nudged by invisible hands. Shadows at the edge of vision appear to move along jungle gyms or benches, and the feeling of being watched or followed is a recurring sensation among those who visit alone. The combination of these experiences creates a compelling, immersive environment that blurs the line between the present and the lingering echoes of the past. Paranormal investigators have documented various anomalies in the park. Audio recordings often capture laughter, footsteps, and the sound of children moving through play structures where no one is present. Long exposure photographs occasionally reveal faint, human-like shapes near jungle gyms, slides, and benches. Thermal imaging has detected sudden pockets of cold in areas associated with sightings or sounds, linking environmental changes to paranormal activity. Experts speculate that the playground may retain the emotional energy of children who once played there, creating echoes that persist decades later. Local lore reinforces Bicentennial Park Playground's haunted reputation. Stories of shadowy children, laughter echoing through empty paths, and sudden chills are shared among residents, visitors, and park employees. Some suggest that the phenomena are residual memories of past visitors, while others believe the park itself acts as a vessel, preserving the energy of past generations. These tales have persisted for years, forming a consistent narrative that attracts both curious visitors and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Despite its eerie reputation, Bicentennial Park Playground continues to be a lively destination during the day, drawing families, tourists, and those exploring the park's scenic areas. Many visitors leave with vivid memories of fleeting shadows, laughter echoing from empty jungle gyms, and chilling sensations that linger long after they depart. Bicentennial Park Playground is more than a recreational space. It is a location where the past and present intersect, where the echoes of Childrena's play linger in sound, shadow, and sensation, and where the unseen presence of the past continues to be felt in the present. Riverfront Park Playground in Spokane, Washington, is a vibrant and well-loved destination by day, filled with the laughter of children, families enjoying picnics, and the rhythmic squeak of swings and slides. The playground stretches across a large section of the park, with climbing structures, slides, swings, and open areas that invite imaginative play. Yet, as the sun dips behind the skyline and the park grows quiet, many visitors report experiences that defy explanation. Witnesses describe phantom movements, eerie giggling, and shadowy figures lurking just beyond the visible, giving Riverfront Park Playground an unsettling, almost spectral reputation after dark. Among the most frequently reported phenomena are the swings that appear to move without anyone occupying them. Parents and evening joggers alike have recounted the unsettling sight of empty swings swaying back and forth in perfect rhythm, as if a child were seated and gently pumping their legs. One evening, a couple walked past a row of swings, noting that a single swing rocked persistently despite the stillness of the air. They paused, half expecting a child to appear, yet no one was nearby. As they continued on their path, the swing gradually slowed and came to a quiet stop, leaving behind only the faint creak of the chains as a reminder that it had moved at all. This recurring phenomenon has been observed by multiple witnesses, who often describe a subtle chill accompanying the motion, as though the air itself recognizes the presence of something unseen. Phantom giggling is another hallmark of Riverfront Park Playground. On quiet evenings, long after the last family has left, the soft, high-pitched laughter of children has been reported echoing across slides and open sand areas. Witnesses describe the sound as playful at first, then fading into something more hollow and eerie, vanishing before it can be traced to any particular source. One local resident recalls taking a solitary walk along the edge of the playground just after dusk. As she passed the jungle gym, she distinctly heard giggling, close and yet somehow distant, as though several children were playing just beyond her vision. She called out, but the sound ceased instantly, leaving her with lingering unease and the impression of unseen eyes watching her movements. Shadowy figures add another layer to the parka's mysterious character. Visitors report glimpses of small, dark forms peering from behind slides or climbing frames, often vanishing the moment they are directly observed. One father described seeing a childlike silhouette crouched behind a spiral slide, watching him as his own children played nearby. When he approached, the figure seemed to dissolve into the shadows, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. Others have described similar encounters along the edges of the playground, with shadows darting from one structure to another, appearing and disappearing too quickly to be fully seen. These figures are generally described as small, fleeting, and indistinct, yet their presence is unmistakable, creating an uneasy awareness that something or something is always just beyond sight. Caretakers and city officials are aware of the stories, but often offer mundane explanations. They attribute the moving swings to lingering wind currents, the echoes of Childrena-esque laughter to ambient city noise, and the shadowy figures to trickery of light and imagination. Yet even skeptics who have spent hours at the park during quiet evenings admit to experiencing moments that are difficult to rationalize. The consistency of reports across decades suggests that these encounters are more than mere coincidence or overactive imaginations. Many locals have adapted to the park's mysterious reputation, treating it less as a source of fear and more as part of its character. Children continue to play under the canopy of trees. Parents watch over them, and joggers pass through, but there's an unspoken understanding that Riverfront Park Playground has a life of its own after dark. Some visitors even see the unexplained phenomena as playful. The phantom swings, the giggling, and the shadowy figures appear to engage with the living without causing harm. A spectral extension of childhood joy. Paranormal enthusiasts are drawn to the playground for this very reason. Cameras, audio recorders, and other devices are often set up to capture evidence of the unexplained. Some have reported faint images of blurred figures moving near slides, audio recordings of distant laughter, and sudden drops in temperature around empty swings. While these findings are debated and often inconclusive, they contribute to the enduring mystique of the playground and inspire a fascination that keeps people returning. Despite the unsettling accounts, Riverfront Park Playground remains a space of life and community. By day, children climb, slide, and swing, filling the air with normal, joyful sounds. By night, a subtler presence seems to linger, one that is felt rather than fully seen. Visitors report sudden chills, the gentle sway of empty swings, and the occasional echo of laughter, suggesting that the park holds the memories of past playtimes alongside the current activity of living children. The allure of Riverfront Park Playground lies in this intersection of the ordinary and the unexplained. A place that is full of laughter and movement during daylight becomes a space where the boundary between reality and the unseen seems thin after dusk. Every creak of a swing, ripple of shadow, or whisper of giggling reminds visitors that some presences endure beyond the visible, and that the spirit of play may persist in ways that cannot be fully understood. It is a place where joy and mystery coexist, where the echoes of childhood of both past and presenta continue to inhabit. The swings, slides, and climbing frames long after the sun has set. Discovery Park Playground in Seattle, Washington, sits within one of the city's most expansive and scenic green spaces. By day, it is a vibrant hub of activity, where children climb, swing, and run freely across slides, monkey bars, and open fields. The laughter of families blends with the natural sounds of surrounding forest, creating a scene of unremarkable happiness. Yet as evening descends and the last joggers and visitors leave the park, something changes. The most commonly reported phenomena involve the swings. Witnesses frequently describe seeing the swings sway gently or even vigorously in the absence of wind or any human contact. Observers often notice the chains creaking and the seats moving as though invisible children are still playing. One resident recounted arriving late in the evening, seeing the swings rise and fall with a slow, deliberate rhythm. As they drew closer, the soft sound of laughter reached their ears, clear but distant. Yet when they scanned the area, the playground was completely empty. Some who have experienced this report a sudden drop in temperature, a chill that travels along the spine, as if the unseen Childrina's presence is tangible. Beyond the swings, many have reported hearing the voices of children. These voices are often described as calling to Misa, sometimes the names of local children, sometimes unknown to the witnesses entirely. One evening, a jogger passing the playground heard their own names softly whispered, followed by giggles echoing among the trees. Others have recounted the sound of children calling to each other from the dense foliage surrounding the playground, only for the voices to vanish as suddenly as they appeared. The sounds are often localized, seeming to come from multiple directions at once, creating the sensation that the playground itself is alive with activity, even when no one is present. Apparitions of children are another recurring element. Visitors describe fleeting figures darting along slides, climbing frames, or between swings, often vanishing into the dark foliage at the edges of the playground. These figures are typically small, child-sized, and move with the energy and agility of children at play. Some witnesses report seeing the figures partially translucent, flickering in and out of view. One night, a parent watching from the nearby path described seeing a child appear at the top of the slide, pause for a moment, then dissolve into the shadows as though never there. Photographs occasionally capture blurred shapes or faint outlines where no one should be, adding visual confirmation to accounts that are otherwise difficult to explain. Unexplained movement is not limited to swings and apparitions. Balls, toys, and small objects have been reported moving on their own, rolling along paths, or shifting positions without contact. Some visitors have described seeing a ball bounce across the sandpit toward a swing, then stop abruptly, only to resume moving moments later. These events often seem coordinated, as if the invisible children are engaged in their own games. Witnesses describe a sensation of being observed, a subtle awareness that their presence is intruding on something private, something that continues even in the absence of human observers. Historians and longtime residents suggest that the strange occurrences may be tied to the playground's history. Discovery Park has served the community for decades, offering a space for recreation, exploration, and family gatherings. Across generations, countless children have played here, leaving behind an accumulation of memories, energy, and emotion. Some theorists suggest that these energies occasionally manifest as residual imprints, echoes of past play that can appear under specific conditions, particularly during twilight or late evening hours. Others believe that spirits of children may linger, drawn to the place where they once spent time, unable to fully leave. Many encounters leave those involved with a mix of awe and unease. A parent watching a slide reported seeing a shadowy figure climb to the top, then vanish as if swallowed by the darkness surrounding the playground. Photographs taken by curious visitors often reveal orbs of light, faint silhouettes, or other unexplained distortions, further fueling the sense of mystery surrounding the playground. Even park maintenance staff have occasionally reported sudden movement of swings or shifted sand when no one is present. Despite the mysteries, Discovery Park Playground remains a beloved space by day. Families continue to visit, children play, and the area thrives with energy and life. Yet for those who linger after dark, the playground becomes a place where past and present intersect, where swings move without hands, voices call from unseen corners, and apparitions vanish into the shadows. The experiences leave a lasting impression, suggesting that the playground retains some essence of those who have played there, even long after the laughter has faded. Discovery Park Playground stands as a place where ordinary play and extraordinary mystery coexist. By day, it is full of color, movement, and joy. By night, it transforms into a space that is alive in a different way, where the echoes of children's laughter, unseen play, and lingering spirits seem to persist. Visitors who enter after dark often feel a subtle connection to the past, a sense that the playground remembers them, and a reminder that some part of childhood, some fragment of innocence, lingers far longer than we might expect. Even for those who have never experienced the unexplained firsthand, the stories themselves shape the playground's identity. It is a place where shadows move, voices linger, and the memory of play becomes something more than a simple recollection. Discovery Park Playground reminds us that some spaces carry the energy of those who once inhabited them, leaving traces in the world for those willing to notice. Millennium Park Playground in Boston, Massachusetts, is a vibrant space during the day, filled with the sounds of children laughing, families gathering, and the city of S life spilling into the park's open spaces. Its colorful slides, swings, and climbing structures make it a favorite destination for locals and tourists alike. Yet as sunlight fades and shadows stretch across the playground, many visitors have reported experiences that cannot be explained by ordinary means. Shadowy children appearing at the top of slides, toys rolling without being touched, echoes of laughter that sometimes turn into cries. One of the most frequently reported phenomena is the appearance of shadowy children at the top of slides or climbing structures. Witnesses describe fleeting figures that seem to pause at the peak, looking down as if preparing to slide or jump. These figures are rarely detailed, often appearing as dark silhouettes, but their childlike shapes and movements are unmistakable. Many report that when they approach to get a closer look, the figures vanish, leaving no trace behind. A visitor walking through the playground in the late evening recalled seeing a small figure at the top of a spiral slide. As he moved closer to see who it was, the figure disappeared, leaving only the faint sound of footsteps and a lingering feeling of being watched. Toys moving on their own are another commonly reported occurrence at Millennium Park Playground. Balls rolling across the ground, ride-on toys shifting slightly, and swings sway without wind or touch have all been documented by visitors. One parent recounted leaving a small ball at the base of a slide, only to see it roll down the slope a few minutes later, though no one was near it. These unexplained movements give the impression that unseen children are still playing, interacting with the playground in ways that are imperceptible to the living. The combination of visual and physical anomalies reinforces the sense that the playground is imbued with energy left behind by those who once enjoyed its structures. Auditory phenomena are perhaps the most chilling aspect of the playground's haunting. Many visitors report hearing the sound of laughter echoing through empty paths, slides, and swings. The laughter often begins as light and playful, then gradually changes in tone, becoming sharper or even turning into cries. One evening, a teenager exploring the playground after dark described hearing a chorus of laughter as she approached the central play area. Moments later, the laughter shifted into faint sobs, accompanied by the distant sound of footsteps running across the rubberized ground. These auditory shifts create an unsettling experience, suggesting that the energy lingering in the playground is not merely playful, but also tinged with sorrow or distress. The combination of visual, auditory, and tactile phenomena creates an immersive and eerie environment at Millennium Park Playground. Visitors often describe sudden chills, the sensation of being watched, or brief touches, as if invisible hands are guiding or following them. Some report that the playground feels alive with movement even when completely empty, with shadows darting at the edges of vision, slides vibrating slightly, and swings moving as though propelled by unseen children. These overlapping experiences contribute to a sense that the playground is more than a physical space yet. It is a repository of memories and energy, replaying moments of joy, fear, and life that refuse to fade. Paranormal investigators have documented a variety of unusual activity at the playground. Audio recordings frequently capture laughter, footsteps, and cries that cannot be attributed to any present individual. Long exposure photography has revealed blurred, human-like figures near slides, swings, and climbing structures. Thermal imaging sometimes detects pockets of sudden cold in areas where apparitions have been seen or sounds reported. Experts suggest that the playground may retain residual energy from children who once frequented the area, or from events long past, creating recurring impressions that manifest visually, audibly, and physically. Local lore supports Millennium Park Playground's reputation for unusual activity. Stories of shadowy children, moving toys, and laughter turning into cries are shared among residents, park staff, and visitors. Some speculate that these phenomena are echoes of children from decades past, replaying games and moments of play, while others believe the park acts as a vessel for emotional energy, preserving the echoes of past generations. Consistency in reports over time has strengthened perception that Millennium Park Playground is a space where the past and present intersect in mysterious ways. Despite its unsettling reputation, the playground continues. The playground continues to attract families, tourists, and those curious. Many leave with vivid memories of fleeting shadows at the tops of slides, and the eerie sound of laughter that fades into cries. Millennium Park Playground is more than a recreational space. It is a location where the echoes of the past persist, where unseen energy continues to play among the structures, and where visitors are reminded that even in places of joy, memories and spirits can linger long after the living have gone. Boston Common Playground in Boston, Massachusetts, has long been a hub of activity for families, joggers, and tourists exploring the historic heart of the city. During the day, the playground is filled with the sounds of children laughing, slides squeaking under energetic descents, and swings creaking under the weight of happy play. Yet, as evening falls and the crowd thins, the atmosphere changes. Visitors and locals alike have reported experiences that cannot be easily explained, including apparitions moving across empty slides, swings that rock without wind, and voices that whisper names from the past. These phenomena have given the playground a reputation for being not just a place of recreation, but a site where the veil between the present and something unseen feels unusually thin. One of the most commonly reported occurrences involves swings that move without human contact. Several joggers have shared accounts of walking past the swings in the quiet evening hours, only to notice them swinging rhythmically despite the calm, windless air. One man recounted running alongside the playground late one summer evening when he spotted a single swing moving back and forth. He paused, certain someone must be sitting on it, but the seat was empty. The swing continued for a few moments before gently coming, leaving him with a deep sense of unease and a feeling that the energy of some unseen presence lingered in the air. Apparitions have also been a source of fascination and fear. Witnesses describe seeing shadowy figures dart across the slides, or appear at the top of climbing frames, only to vanish when directly observed. One mother recalls watching her child play on the jungle gym when she saw a small figure on a nearby slide. It was too quick to be a real child, gliding across the platform and disappearing behind the structure. Several teenagers who had been hanging out near the swings late one evening reported seeing similar figures moving in the corners of their vision, only to vanish when they turned their heads. These fleeting apparitions are generally described as childlike in shape and movement, but blurred and indistinct, leaving an impression of life without the certainty of form. Voices whispering names are another frequent experience. Many visitors have claimed to hear their own names or common names from past generations carried softly through the air. These whispers often come from areas of the playground that appear completely empty. One local jogger described running along the paths near the playground when she distinctly heard her name called in familiar, almost childlike tone. Startled, she paused and looked around, but no one was there. The voice was gone as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind only the echo in her memory and a shiver that lingered long after she had continued on her route. Some families have also reported hearing whispers directed toward children who had already left the playground, as if the voices belonged to spirits who once played there and still wish to be heard. Caretakers and city officials often offer practical explanations, citing light wind currents, the natural creaking of equipment, and echoes of distant city sounds. Yet even skeptics admit that the consistency and frequency of these occurrences suggests something more than coincidence. Many who have spent time observing the playground during quieter hours report that the phenomena are localized around specific areas, particularly near older slides and swings that have been part of the park for decades. This has led some to speculate that the playground carries the memories of past visitors. The playground has also attracted paranormal enthusiasts who aim to document the unexplained. Audio recorders sometimes capture faint laughter, whispers, or footsteps that have no discernible source. Cameras occasionally reveal blurred figures or fleeting shapes near the slides, though the images are often indistinct and open to interpretation. Temperature monitoring devices detect sudden drops in cold spots, especially near swings that appear to move on their own. While skeptics remain divided over the significance of these recordings, they contribute to the mystique of Boston Common Playground and reinforce its reputation as a place where something unseen lingers. Despite these eerie accounts, the playground continues to serve as a space of joy, recreation, and community. During daylight hours, children climb, swing, and slide with unbridled energy, filling the air with sounds of life. Even at dusk, families and joggers frequent the area, drawn by its scenic location and open spaces. The contrast between the lively daytime activity and the quiet, mysterious evenings adds a layer of depth to the park, making a location that is both comforting and subtly unsettling. The allure of Boston Common Playground lies in the tension between the ordinary and the extraordinary. A place that is filled with laughter and movement during the day becomes at night a space where shadows linger. Swings move without hands, and voices carry from the past. For those who pay attention, the playground offers glimpses of something beyond the visible, a subtle reminder that the joy of children and the energy of past play can persist long after the last visitor has gone home. It is a location where the echoes of memory and presence intertwine with the everyday, creating an experience that is both haunting and compelling. For evening visitors, each creaking swing, whispered name, and shadow crossing the slide serves as a reminder that Boston Common Playground is not merely a playground, but a space where the past continues to interact with the present, where the laughter of unseen children coexists alongside the living, and where the boundary between the natural and the inexplicable feels unexpectedly thin. Liberty Park Playground in Salt Lake City, Utah, is a familiar and beloved destination for families during the day. Children race across the slides, climb the monkey bars, and swing back and forth with gleeful abandon. Laughter echoes through surrounding paths, mingling with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant hum of the city. By day, it is a place of ordinary joy where families gather, picnics are enjoyed, and the playground serves as a hub of energy and activity. Yet, as the sun dips below the horizon and the park empties, the most frequently reported phenomenon involves shadowy children appearing along the playground paths. Witnesses recount fleeting glimpses of small figures darting between swings, climbing frames, and slides. These apparitions are often described as moving with the energy and spontaneity of children at play. Yet they vanish the moment one attempts to approach. One visitor described walking along a quiet path at dusk when a small shadow ran past, just out of reach, disappearing into the darkened foliage. Others have noted seeing figures pause at the top of a slide or the edge of a swing before fading into nothingness, leaving no trace behind. These apparitions seem playful rather than threatening, yet their sudden appearance in empty playgrounds creates a lingering sense of unease. Unexplained giggling is another frequent occurrence. Visitors report hearing faint laughter that echoes across the playground, though no children are present. One evening, a jogger paused near the sandbox after hearing the unmistakable sound of giggles all around them. When they looked, the area was empty. Others report hearing whispers calling out names, playful challenges like, "Catch me if you can," or quiet murmurs that seem to follow them along the paths. The effect is subtle yet persistent, creating the impression that unseen children are engaged in ongoing play, just beyond perception. Toys moving without human interaction is another strange element reported by those visiting the playground after dark. Balls, small toy cars, and other playthings have been observed rolling, shifting, or bouncing on their own. One parent reported leaving a small ball on a swing and returning moments later to find it gently moving back and forth, as though pushed by invisible hands. Others have seen multiple toys moving across the sand or climbing structures simultaneously, suggesting coordinated activity that defies explanation. These events are often accompanied by the giggles, whispers, or faint footsteps that make the playground feel alive long after everyone has gone home. Some locals and historians speculate that the mysterious occurrences are linked to the park's long history. Liberty Park has served Salt Lake City for decades, providing a space for recreation, community gatherings, and childrenna-esque play. Across generations, countless children have run, laughed, and explored the playground-esque equipment, leaving behind a layered energy that may be imprinted on the space. Some suggest that these residual energies occasionally manifest under specific conditions, particularly during twilight or in quiet nighttime hours. Others believe that the phenomena are the result of lingering spirits of children who once played there, drawn back to the place they loved. Even modern-day visitors have personal accounts of these strange events. One woman reported walking along a deserted path when she felt a sudden brush against her arm and heard a childish laugh, though no one was visible. A group of friends described seeing small shadows dart across the playground, while hearing faint footsteps on the sand, though they were alone. Photographs taken by curious visitors sometimes reveal faint blurs or outlines of figures that do not correspond to any actual person, lending a visual aspect to experiences that are otherwise difficult to explain. Park staff occasionally report swings moving or sand displaced when no one is around, reinforcing the sense that the playground holds a presence beyond ordinary understanding. Despite these unusual experiences, Liberty Park Playground remains a vibrant space by day. Families visit, children play, and the area thrives with normal activity. Yet for those who linger after dark, the playground transforms into a place where past and present seem to meet. Shadowy figures, moving toys, and unexplained laughter suggest a continuity of presence, a subtle reminder that spaces of play carry with them more than just physical structure. They also carry memory, energy, and echoes of those who once enjoyed them. The playground-esque nighttime reputation has grown through word of mouth, shared stories among locals, and accounts by visitors who wander after sunset. Those who pass through report a heightened awareness, fleeting glimpses of movement in the corner of the eye, and the sensation of being observed by unseen players. The phenomena, whether interpreted as residual energy, spirits, or simply heightened perception, have become a defining element of Liberty Park Playground, transforming it from a familiar city space into one of quiet mystery. Liberty Park Playground stands as a testament to the lingering power of childhood joy and memory. By day, it is full of life, laughter, and energy. By night, it becomes a space where the ordinary and extraordinary converge, where shadowy children run along paths, toys move without hands, and giggles echo through the air. Visitors who encounter these mysteries often leave with a sense of wonder and an awareness that some part of playground, and the energy it has absorbed over decades, remains ever present, waiting for those willing to notice. Even for those who have never experienced these phenomena firsthand, the stories surrounding Liberty Park Playground shape its identity, turning a familiar recreational space into a site of intrigue and reflection. It is a reminder that some laughter, some play, and some presence endure, lingering in the shadows long after the park has emptied. City Park Playground in Denver, Colorado, is a beloved destination during the day, where families gather to enjoy the fresh air, children scramble up jungle gyms, and laughter fills the open spaces. The playground, nestled among towering trees and surrounded by the scenic beauty of City Park, has been a part of the community for generations. Yet, after dark, the park transforms into a place where familiar becomes strange and unsettling. Locals and visitors alike have reported witnessing apparitions of children, chasing unseen friends, swing sets rocking on their own, and faint cries echoing across empty playgrounds, suggesting that the park may hold lingering traces of the past. One of the most frequently reported phenomena at City Park Playground is the appearance of ghostly children. Witnesses describe fleeting figures darting across the playground, climbing slides, or running between trees, their movements distinctly childlike yet intangible. Many report that the children appear to be engaged in games that no living person can see, chasing invisible friends across the swings and jungle gyms. A woman visiting the park late one evening recounted seeing 3 small figures sprinting across the sandbox, their laughter fading in and out as they ran. When she attempted to approach, the children vanished, leaving only the impression of motion and the echo of laughter in the night air. These sightings are often brief, but leave a lasting sense of presence, as though the playground itself is alive, with memories of joy and play. Swing sets moving on their own are another commonly reported phenomenon. Visitors have described swings rocking gently, or even swinging violently, despite calm weather and empty playgrounds. These movements are often accompanied by the faint sound of footsteps or giggling, enhancing the impression that unseen children are actively playing. One father recounting an evening visit reported pushing his own child on a swing, only to notice an adjacent swing moving rhythmically on its own. As he approached to investigate, the motion stopped abruptly, and the surrounding air felt noticeably colder. Such incidents suggest that the playground is not merely a physical space, but a place where unseen energy interacts with the living, creating phenomena that are both visual and tactile. Auditory experiences are equally striking. Many visitors have reported hearing faint cries or sobbing echoing through the empty playground, often following laughter or playful sounds. These cries are described as haunting yet subtle, sometimes heard in the distance, and other times close enough to suggest an invisible presence nearby. One teenage visitor, exploring the park alone, described hearing laughter rising from the swings, followed suddenly by a low, mournful wail that seemed to come from the base of the jungle gym. The juxtaposition of joy and sorrow creates an eerie atmosphere, leaving those present with a sense of unease and the impression that the park's past continues to bleed into the present. The combination of visual, auditory, and tactile phenomena makes City Park Playground a uniquely immersive environment. Visitors often report feeling watched, experiencing sudden chills, or sensing unseen hands brushing past them. Shadows flicker at the edges of vision. Swings vibrate slightly, and the sound of footsteps continues even when the playground is empty. These overlapping experiences suggest that the playground is more than just a recreational area. It is a living memory, replaying fragments of past activity in ways that are perceptible to those who enter after dark. Paranormal investigators have documented numerous anomalies at City Park Playground. Audio recordings frequently capture laughter, footsteps, and faint cries that cannot be attributed to living children. Long exposure photography has revealed ghostly figures climbing slides or moving across sandpits, often appearing in clusters as though engaged in games together. Thermal imaging has detected sudden pockets of cold, often corresponding with the location of apparitions or reported tactile sensations. Investigators propose that these phenomena may be residual energy from children who once played in the park, or from emotionally charged events in the area, leaving behind impressions that continue to manifest decades later. Local lore reinforces the playground's reputation for unusual activity. Stories of children chasing unseen friends, swings moving independently, and laughter giving way to cries are shared among residents, visitors, and park staff. Many suggest that the park's history and its frequent use by generations of children have left behind a type of memory, replaying moments of joy and sorrow for anyone sensitive enough to notice. Some interpret the apparitions as playful spirits, while others believe the echoes carry a more poignant message, preserving the emotions of the past within the physical space of the playground. Despite its eerie reputation, City Park Playground continues to attract families, tourists, and those curious about its haunted history. Many leave with vivid memories of shadowy children darting across the slides, and swings moving on their own, and faint cries lingering in the air long after they had departed. City Park Playground is more than a recreational site. It is a place where the past intersects with the present, where unseen energy continues to play and linger, and where visitors are reminded that the echoes of those who once inhabited the space can persist in sound, movement, and shadow long after the playground appears empty. This is where City Park Playground is more than a recreational site. Chase Park Playground in San Antonio, Texas, has long been a favored destination for families, offering children a space to climb, swing, and explore under the sprawling Texan sky. By day, the playground is filled with familiar sound of childhood, laughter ringing from slides, the rhythmic creak of swings, and parents calling out to watchful children. But as evening falls and the golden light of the day fades, the playground takes on eerie quality that many locals and late visitors have found difficult to explain. Reports of shadowy figures, phantom laughter, and inexplicable movement have given Chase Park Playground a mysterious reputation that lingers well past sunset. One of the most commonly reported phenomena is the appearance of shadow figures. Visitors often describe fleeting glimpses of dark, child-sized shapes darting between slides, climbing frames, and jungle gyms. These figures are rarely seen in full, often disappearing the instant they are directly observed. One mother recalled an evening when she was pushing her toddler on a swing as dusk settled over the park. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed a small, indistinct figure moving between the jungle gym and the slide. When she turned fully to see, the figure vanished, leaving only the sense that the figures move with agility and purpose, yet never linger long enough to be clearly recognized. Phantom laughter is another frequent and unsettling occurrence at Chase Park Playground. Visitors report hearing laughter ripple across the slides and swings, growing louder as they approach. The laughter often seems playful and innocent at first, only to take on a hollow, almost haunting quality before fading into silence. One young man, jogging along the park's paths after sunset, described hearing laughter ripple across the slides and swings, growing louder as he approached, then stopping abruptly when he tried to locate the source. Families walking home from the playground have also recounted similar experiences, hearing their children's names called in tones that are familiar, yet eerily disembodied. The equipment itself seems to be animated by unseen hands. Swings rock slowly without wind, jungle gyms creak as though bearing weight that isn't there, and slides sometimes appear slick or slightly wet even when the air is dry. A local teenager recalls sitting near the swings one evening when he noticed one seat rocking back and forth steadily, though no one was present. He approached, hoping to see a late visitor, but the motion ceased the moment he reached it. Others have described seesaws tipping gently, climbing ladders wobbling, or slides moving under invisible pressure. The combination of these movements with the sudden chills that sometimes accompany them creates a sense that the playground is inhabited by unseen playmates who mirror the joys of living children. Visitors have also described a feeling of being watched. Parents pushing strollers, joggers, and evening walkers have reported a heightened sense of awareness, as though eyes are following them from shadows. The shadow figures, though fleeting, are said to move in patterns that suggest intentionality, appearing near the edges of vision before vanishing entirely. One young couple walking past the slides late at night described a sensation of a small presence moving between them, darting from one jungle gym to another, leaving a faint rustle in its wake. Even when no figure was visible, the sensation persisted, adding a layer of unease to what would otherwise be a quiet evening stroll. Caretakers and city officials often provide mundane explanations, attributing moving swings and creaking equipment to wind, uneven surfaces, or mechanical wear. They note that playgrounds naturally create illusions in low light, and that children's imaginations can enhance the perception of shadows or sounds. Yet the consistency of reports over the years, from multiple witnesses and across different conditions, suggests that something more may be occurring. Those who have spent extended time in a playground during quiet evenings often report experiences that defy rational explanation, lending credibility to the stories of shadowy presences and unexplained activity. Paranormal enthusiasts are frequently drawn to Chase Park Playground, hoping to document evidence of the unexplained. Cameras have occasionally captured blurred, indistinct figures moving between slides or swings. Audio recorders pick up faint giggles or whispers that cannot be traced to any living source. Even thermometers sometimes detect sudden drops in temperature near the swings and jungle gyms. While skeptics debate the significance of such findings, these encounters contribute to the playground's reputation as a place where the boundaries between the visible and invisible, the ordinary and the unexplained, are thin and often crossed. Despite its eerie reputation, Chase Park Playground remained a place of life and recreation. Children continue to play, families gather for picnics, and joggers traverse the winding paths. The playground's atmosphere, though, carries a subtle awareness for those attuned to it. The faint sound of giggling, the gentle sway of empty swings, and the fleeting glimpse of shadow figures serve as quiet reminders that the playground may host more than just the living. Many locals view these phenomena not as threats, but as echoes of past play, a lingering presence that reflects the joy, energy, and spontaneity of children. Chase Park Playground offers a unique blending of the ordinary and the mysterious. By day, it is a familiar space of laughter and movement. By night, it transforms into a place where unseen presences seem to echo the rhythms of childhood. Every creak of a swing, whisper of laughter, or flash of shadow reminds visitors that the playground exists in layers, one visible, one hidden, and perhaps one that never fully belongs to the present. For those who linger after dark, the playground provides a rare glimpse into a world where joy and mystery coexist, where the past and present meet, and where the simple act of play continues beyond the ordinary confines of time and space. Pearl Park Playground in San Antonio, Texas, is a lively and colorful space by day, where children climb, swing, and run across slides and monkey bars. Families gather on the grassy areas. Picnics are shared, and the laughter of children fills the air. A center of community activity and a familiar part of local life. Yet as the sun sets and the playground empties, the atmosphere changes. Locals and nighttime visitors alike describe experiences that are difficult to explain, suggesting that the playground holds echoes of the past, as well as a presence that seems to linger long after the last child has gone home. The most frequently reported phenomenon involves shadowy children. Witnesses recount fleeting glimpses of small figures appearing along slides, darting between climbing frames, or running across the playground paths. These figures are often described as translucent, moving quickly and silently, vanishing the instant someone approaches. One resident reported arriving near dusk and seeing a small child climb a slide, pause at the top, and then dissolve into the shadows before they could even take a step forward. Others have described figures running along the edges of the playground, disappearing into corners or behind trees, leaving no trace. While the apparitions seem playful, their sudden appearance in an empty playground can be startling, creating a lingering sense that the playground is alive in some unseen way. Unseen hands pushing swings is another common occurrence. Visitors often notice the swings moving back and forth, rising and falling in perfect rhythm, despite the absence of wind or anyone nearby. Some have reported sitting on a swing themselves, feeling it move gently as if someone had just pushed them. Others have observed swings reaching heights that would require effort, yet no one is visible. These motions are often accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature, and some witnesses describe feeling a presence near them, a subtle awareness of being watched. The creaking of chains in quiet night adds to the eerie sensation, as if invisible children are continuing the game that began long ago. Faint giggles are another recurring element of Pearl Park Playground's strange reputation. Visitors report hearing small bursts of laughter, sometimes directly behind them, sometimes coming from slides or climbing structures. Some have described giggles that rise and fall in volume, as if a group of children is moving across the playground, calling to one another and then vanishing. One evening, a jogger recounted hearing laughter echoing around the sandbox, feeling an inexplicable chill as they looked for the source, only find the area completely empty. Others have heard voices softly calling names or repeating phrases like, "Come play with us." Locals and historians speculate that these strange occurrences may be tied to the park's long history. Pearl Park has been part of San Antonio's community for decades, a site where generations of children have played, laughed, and explored. Some suggest that the residual energy of countless hours of play may have left imprints on the space, occasionally manifesting as apparitions, moving swings, or faint laughter. Others believe that spirits of children may linger, drawn to the playground by the joy it once provided, unable to fully leave behind the place where they experience happiness. Even modern-day visitors have their own unsettling experiences. One parent reported sitting on a bench and watching a swing move on its own. A group of friends exploring after sunset described seeing shadowy figures dart along the playground paths, only to vanish when they tried to approach. Photographs sometimes reveal faint blurs or shadows that do not correspond to any person, adding visual evidence to the accounts that defy logical explanation. Park staff have also reported swings moving or sand disturbed when no one has been around, further reinforcing the sense that the playground holds a presence beyond ordinary understanding. Despite these mysteries, Pearl Park Playground continues to be a vibrant and cherished space by day. Families visit, children play, and laughter fills the area once again. Yet for those who linger after dark, the playground transforms into a place where past and present converge. Shadowy figures, unseen pushes, and disappearing giggles suggest a continuity of presence, a subtle reminder that the playground remembers its past visitors. The experiences leave those who witness them with a heightened sense of awareness, a feeling that some energy remains, hovering just out of reach. The playground's nighttime reputation has grown through word of mouth and shared stories among locals. Visitors report an uncanny feeling of being observed, fleeting glimpses of movement in the corner of their eyes, and an awareness that something lingers just beyond perception. These phenomena, whether interpreted as residual energy, spirits, or heightened imagination, have become part of the playground's identity, transforming it from a simple recreational space into a location of mystery and quiet intrigue. By day, it is full of life, color, and joy. By night, it becomes a space where shadows move along slides. Swings are pushed without hands, and giggles echo in the air, fading as quickly as they appear. Visitors who encounter these mysteries often leave with a sense of wonder, understanding that some part of the playground, and the energy it has absorbed over decades, remains ever present, waiting for those willing to notice. Even for those who have never experienced the unexplained, the stories surrounding Pearl Park Playground shape its identity, turning a familiar space into one of quiet fascination. It is a reminder that some laughter, some play, and some presence endure, lingering in the shadows long after the park is emptied. Audubon Playground in New Orleans, Louisiana, is a lively and beloved space by day, filled with the sound of children playing, families gathering, and the distant hum of the city blending with the gentle rustle of trees. Its swings, slides, and climbing structures are a staple for local residents, offering a place of recreation and respite. Yet as evening falls and the crowds dissipate, many visitors have reported experiences that cannot be easily explained. Apparitions of children in old-fashioned attire, toys rolling mysteriously across the ground, and shadowy figures vanishing into the mist suggest that Audubon Playground holds echoes of the past, lingering alongside the living in ways that are both playful and unsettling. One of the most frequently reported phenomena is the appearance of children in vintage clothing. Witnesses describe fleeting figures running across slides, weaving through jungle gyms, or pausing near benches, their attire suggesting an era long past. These apparitions are often small, indistinct silhouettes, but their movements are unmistakably childlike. Many have reported that as they approach or attempt to get a closer look, the children vanish as if they were never there. One visitor recounts strolling to the playground late one evening and spotting a small girl at the top of the slide, her dress and bonnet seemingly from the early 20th century. When he stepped closer to see her clearly, she disappeared, leaving only the faint echo of laughter. Such encounters leave a lingering impression, suggesting that the playground may be a site where the energy of past generations continues to replay. Toys moving without cause are another hallmark of Audubon Playground's unusual activity. Balls roll across the rubberized ground. Dolls shift slightly, and swing sets sometimes sway even when the air is still. One parent recalled leaving a small wagon by the sandbox, only to see it inch forward a few minutes later, though no one was nearby. These mysterious movements are often accompanied by the sound of faint footsteps or soft giggles, reinforcing the sense that unseen children are still engaging with the playground. Visitors report feeling a mixture of wonder and unease, as the motion of objects suggests a playful presence, but one that is entirely intangible. Auditory phenomena are equally striking at Audubon Playground. Many witnesses describe hearing laughter and giggles echoing across empty areas, often accompanied by the faint sound of running footsteps. Occasionally, the laughter shifts abruptly into softer cries or sighs, creating a disconcerting juxtaposition of joy and sorrow. One night, a local artist sketching the playground described hearing the faint sound of children laughing near a set of swings, followed moments later by a low, mournful wail that seemed to come from the mist rolling in from nearby trees. These auditory experiences heighten the sense that the playground is more than a physical space here. It is a vessel for the lingering energy of those who once played there. Shadowy figures vanishing into mist are another commonly reported occurrence. Visitors have described dark, humanoid shapes moving along pathways, climbing slides, or standing near benches, only to dissolve into fog before they can be identified. The figures are often seen fleetingly in the corner of Oni's vision, their presence fleeting yet undeniable. One evening, a group of friends exploring the park witnessed a shadowy figure standing near a jungle gym. As they approached, the figure dissipated into the mist, leaving only the faint impression of motion and the sudden drop in temperature where it had stood. These visual anomalies often coincide with auditory and tactile phenomena, creating a fully immersive and eerie experience. The combination of visual, auditory, and physical experiences contributes to Audubon Playground's reputation as a site of lingering energy. Visitors often report sudden chills, the sensation of being watched, or subtle brushes against their arms or shoulders. Some describe the playground feeling alive even when empty, with shadows moving at the edge of vision, swings vibrating, and the faint sound of footsteps across the ground. These overlapping experiences reinforce the idea that the park is not merely a recreational space, but a place where the past continues to interact with the present in palpable ways. Paranormal investigators have documented numerous anomalies at Audubon Playground. Audio recordings frequently capture laughter, running footsteps, and cries that cannot be explained by present-day activity. Long-exposure photography has revealed blurred, childlike figures near slides and climbing structures, often appearing in clusters as if playing together. Thermal imaging sometimes detects sudden pockets of cold air in areas associated with sightings, linking environmental changes to the presence of unseen entities. Experts speculate that the playground retains residual energy from children who once frequented the area, creating recurring impressions that manifest in visual, auditory, and tactile forms. Local lore has long preserved the playground's reputation for unusual activity. Stories of children in old-fashioned attire, toys moving on their own, and shadowy figures vanishing into the mist. Some suggest these phenomena are echoes of children from decades past, replaying joyful games. Others believe the park itself acts as a vessel for memory, preserving the emotional energy of past generations. The consistency of these reports over time strengthens the perception that Audubon Playground is a space where history and the present intermingle. Despite its eerie reputation, Audubon Playground remains a popular destination for families and visitors exploring New Orleans. Many leave with vivid memories of fleeting figures in vintage clothing, laughter echoing across empty paths, and toys rolling without explanation. Audubon Playground is more than a recreational area. It is a place where the past continues to exist alongside the present, where unseen energy lingers in movement, sound, and shadow, and where visitors are reminded that some memories refuse to fade, echoing through time in subtle yet unmistakable ways. City Park Playground in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, has long been a favorite spot for families, children, and visitors seeking a vibrant outdoor space in the heart of the city. By day, the playground is filled with familiar sounds. Children racing down slides, swings creaking under the weight of playful energy, and parents calling out to watchful children. The open sandboxes, jungle gyms, and climbing structures form a landscape designed for imagination and exploration. Yet as night falls and crowds disperse, something unusual seems to take hold of the space. Witnesses have reported phantom children darting across the jungle gyms, laughter echoing in empty areas, and toys mysteriously moving across sandboxes. These strange occurrences have earned City Park Playground a reputation as a place where the ordinary and the unexplained intersect in subtle, unsettling ways. Many accounts focus on the sighting of shadowy, childlike figures. Visitors describe fleeting glimpses of small forms running along jungle gyms or climbing frames, moving too quickly and fluidly to be ordinary children. One parent recounted watching her child play near the slides as she noticed a small figure climb the jungle gym with remarkable speed. When she turned fully to look, the figure had vanished, leaving only a faint ripple in the air where it had been. Other observers have described similar sightings. Shadows that dart between equipment, vanish around corners, or appear to linger for a brief moment before dissolving entirely. The figures are usually indistinct, lacking clear features, yet their presence is unmistakable, creating an impression of play that exists just beyond the realm of the living. Unexplained laughter is another hallmark of the playground as nighttime phenomena. Visitors often report hearing soft giggles or laughter that echoes across slides, swings, and sandboxes, despite the area being empty. The laughter is described as playful at first, resembling the joy of children at play, but it often takes on an eerie quality before fading. One evening, a jogger running along the park paths noticed laughter rippling to the playground, starting faint and growing louder as she neared the jungle gym. When she stopped and called out, the sound ceased instantly, leaving her with a chill and a sense that unseen eyes were observing her movements. Families leaving late in the evening have recounted hearing whispers of Childrina's names, carried through the air, adding a personal and unsettling dimension to the phenomenon. Toys moving on their own have also been reported in the park. Sandboxes, in particular, seem to be a focal point for unexplained activity. Small plastic shovels, buckets, and scattered toys have been observed sliding across empty sandboxes as if guided by invisible hands. A father who had left his children's toy truck near the edge of the sandbox one evening returned after a brief walk to find it pushed toward the center, seemingly on its own. Others describe seeing sand shift subtly, footprints appearing and disappearing without a source, and toys toppling or sliding as if engaged in play by unseen participants. Visitors also report a pervasive feeling of being watched. Those walking alone or in small groups after sunset describe the sensation of unseen eyes following their movements. Shadow figures are said to appear at the edge of vision, disappearing the moment they are directly observed. Parents pushing strollers or joggers moving along the paths frequently notice sudden chills, shifts in air, or subtle noises that suggest the presence of others, despite the playground being empty. The effect is subtle yet unmistakable, creating a tension that is difficult to ignore and lending credence to the stories of those who have encountered these phenomena firsthand. Caretakers and city officials often provide rational explanations, attributing the movement of toys and swings to wind, the settling of equipment, or the imagination of witnesses. Yet the consistency and frequency of these reports make it difficult to dismiss entirely. Those who spend extended time in the playground after dark often describe events that defy natural explanation, suggesting that the playground retains some form of residual energy or presence connected to past play. Paranormal enthusiasts have taken interest in City Park Playground, using cameras, audio recorders, and other equipment to capture potential evidence. Some have recorded blurred figures moving between slides and jungle gyms, and faint laughter or whispers on audio devices. And subtle changes in temperature near sandboxes and swings. Reinforcing the playground's reputation as a place where the ordinary and extraordinary coexist. Drawing curiosity and attention from those eager to explore the unexplained. Despite its eerie reputation, City Park Playground remains a lively, active space during the day. Children continue to climb, swing, and play, while families gather for picnics. And friends stroll along the pathways. The swings, slides, jungle gyms, and sandboxes serve as both playground and stage, where echoes of laughter and fleeting movements hint at life that persists beyond the ordinary. The spirit of play continues beyond the visible and tangible. The presence of unseen participants adds a layer of mystery. City Park Playground is a unique intersection of joy and mystery. By day, it is a familiar, energetic environment. By night, it becomes a space where shadows linger, laughter carries through the air, and toys move as if guided by invisible hands. Each creaking swing, whisper of giggling, and fleeting figure reminds visitors that some presences endure alongside the living, offering a glimpse into a world where childhood play continues beyond what can be seen. The playground stands as a place where memory and energy, visible and unseen, intertwine, creating a haunting yet captivating atmosphere that leaves a lasting impression on all who visit. Rittenhouse Square Playground in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is a familiar oasis in the midst of the city's bustling streets. By day, it is a vibrant place where children run across slides, climb the monkey bars, and swing back and forth under the warm sunlight. Parents and caregivers sit on nearby benches, watching as laughter fills the air and the surrounding trees sway gently in the breeze. It is a space of joy, a haven of play in the heart of the city, seemingly ordinary in every sense. Yet as evening falls and the last visitors leave, the playground takes on a different character, one that locals and nighttime passers-by describe as strange, unsettling, and at times inexplicably alive. The most frequently reported experiences involve shadowy figures appearing at the top of slides and climbing structures. Witnesses often recount glimpses of small, childlike forms standing at the edge of a slide, peering down as if waiting for someone to join them. These figures are often described as faint, almost translucent, and vanish the instant an observer moves closer. One resident walking her dog at dusk described seeing a small figure crouched at the top of a slide, then suddenly disappear when she approached, leaving her staring at an empty playground. Others report seeing shapes dart along the monkey bars, or pause on climbing frames, before fading into the shadows, as though engaged in play that continues unseen. Unseen hands pushing swings is another common phenomenon. Many visitors describe swings moving back and forth in the absence of any wind or human contact. Sometimes the motion is gentle and rhythmic. Other times it is energetic, as if children are actively swinging themselves. Witnesses who have approached the swings often report a sudden drop in temperature and a sensation of presence, as though an invisible child is seated on the swing or giving it a push. One jogger recounted pausing near the swing set and feeling the subtle motion increase under their touch. Even though the area was completely empty, the creaking of chains and the quiet of the evening adds to the haunting sensation, echoing across the playground, creating the sense of unseen play. The feeling of being watched is another recurring element. Many visitors report an eerie awareness that they are not alone, even when the playground is completely empty. It is often described as subtle at first, a tingle along the back of the neck, the sensation of eyes following every movement. One late-night visitor described walking past a climbing frame and suddenly feeling as if tiny eyes were observing him from above, though no one was there. Others report hearing faint whispers or soft footsteps, just at the edge of perception, heightening the sense that the playground is alive with the energy of unseen children. Some historians and locals suggest that these unusual occurrences may be tied to the long history of Rittenhouse Square itself. As one of Philadelphia's oldest public spaces, the park has welcomed generations of children who have run, laughed, and played across its equipment for decades. While specific tragic events are not widely recorded, the accumulation of energy from countless hours of play, joy, and youthful exuberance may have left an imprint on the playground. Some historians and locals suggest that these unusual occurrences may be tied to the long history of Rittenhouse Square itself. Paranormal enthusiasts speculate that these imprints occasionally manifest as apparitions, moving swings, and a lingering sensation being watched by invisible children, particularly in the quiet hours of the evening. Many modern visitors have their own stories to add. One parent reported sitting on a bench late in the evening and watching a swing move back and forth with no wind, while faint giggles carried through the air. Another visitor described seeing a shadowy figure at the top of a slide, frozen for a moment before vanishing entirely. Photographs sometimes capture faint outlines or blurs where no person should be, giving a visual record to experiences that otherwise defy explanation. Park staff occasionally report seeing swings moving or sand disturbed. Despite these strange occurrences, Rittenhouse Square Playground remains a beloved space by day. Families continue to visit, children play, and the area is filled with light, laughter, and energy. Yet for those who linger after dark, the playground transforms into a place where past and present intersect. Shadowy figures, unseen pushes, and the sensation of being watched suggest a continuity of presence, a subtle reminder that spaces of play carry memory and energy beyond what is immediately visible. The playground's nighttime reputation has grown through word of mouth, stories shared among locals, and accounts by visitors who wander after sunset. Those who pass through describe fleeting glimpses of movement in the corner of their vision, the feeling of eyes upon them, and soft whispers that vanish without explanation. These experiences, whether interpreted as residual energy, spirits, or heightened perception, contribute to the playground's identity as a place of quiet mystery amidst the city streets. Rittenhouse Square Playground stands as a reminder that spaces of play are more than just their physical structures. By day, it is full of color, activity, and joy. By night, it becomes a realm where shadowy figures linger, swings move without hands, and unseen children watch from the edges of perception. Visitors who experience these phenomena often leave with a sense of wonder and unease, aware that some part of the playground that has energy and memory remains ever present, waiting quietly for those willing to notice. Even for those who have never witnessed these events firsthand, the stories surrounding Rittenhouse Square Playground shape its identity, transforming a familiar city space into one of intrigue and reflection. It is a place where the echoes of play, joy, and presence endure, lingering in shadows long after the park has emptied, quietly observed by children unseen. Griffith Park Playground in Los Angeles, California, is a well-loved destination during the day, where families and tourists gather to enjoy the open space, climb jungle gyms, and swing beneath the sun-dappled canopy of trees. Its sprawling green areas, colorful play structures, and scenic surroundings make a favorite spot for recreation and relaxation. Yet as evening falls and crowds dissipate, many visitors report experiences that defy ordinary explanation. Children's laughter echoing through empty areas, apparitions running along slides and swings, and mysterious giggles resonating from the trees suggest that Griffith Park Playground is a place where the past lingers, intertwining with the present in ways both playful and unsettling. One of the most commonly reported phenomena is the sighting of ghostly children. Witnesses describe fleeting figures darting across slides, climbing jungle gyms, or weaving between benches, their movements unmistakably childlike. These apparitions often appear at the edges of vision, fleeting and difficult to focus on, but their presence is unmistakable. Visitors frequently report that as they approach the figures, they vanish, leaving no trace behind. A late evening jogger once recounted seeing a small boy pause at the top of a slide, looking down as if preparing to descend. When she stepped closer to investigate, the figure disappeared, leaving only the faint echo of laughter and a chilling sense of being observed. These encounters are brief but leave lasting impressions, suggesting that the playground may retain the energy of children who once played there, replaying moments of joy across time. Unexplained laughter is another hallmark of Griffith Park Playground's strange activity. Visitors have reported hearing high-pitched giggles and shouts coming from empty areas, often seeming to echo across the playground and surrounding trees. One evening, a group of teenagers exploring the park after dark described hearing laughter rising from the swings and slides, followed moments later by the sound of running footsteps across the rubberized ground. The sound would intensify and then fade abruptly, leaving the explorers both intrigued and unnerved. The combination of joyful and mysterious audio phenomena suggests that the playground is more than a physical space here. It is a conduit for lingering memories and energy. Apparitions running along slides and swings are often reported in tandem with the laughter. Witnesses describe seeing figures of small children climbing up slides, gliding down, or racing along the swings, only to vanish before they can be fully identified. These figures are often semi-transparent, appearing as shadows or blurred forms, yet their movements are distinct and purposeful. Some visitors have reported glimpsing children pausing mid-run to look around, their fleeting gaze giving the impression of awareness before disappearing entirely. These visual experiences often coincide with sounds of giggling, footsteps, and other subtle indications that unseen presences are actively interacting with the playground. These visual experiences often coincide with sounds of giggling, footsteps, and other subtle indications that unseen presences are actively interacting with the playground. Mysterious giggles echoing from the trees are another eerie aspect of the park's reputation. Visitors have described laughter that seems to drift from the surrounding foliage, detached from the playground itself. The giggles often appear rhythmic, rising and falling in a way that mimics children playing hide-and-seek or chasing one another along hidden paths. One local artist sketching the playground at dusk reported hearing soft, continuous laughter from the tree-line, while the area was completely empty. The sound intensified as she approached, then stopped abruptly, leaving only the faint impression of movement in the shadows. Such occurrences contribute to the playground's reputation as a space where unseen energy manifests in both visual and auditory forms. The combination of visual, auditory, and environmental anomalies creates an immersive and haunting experience at Griffith Park Playground. Visitors often report sudden chills, the sensation of being watched, or the feeling of light touches on their shoulders as if unseen children are present. Shadows flicker at the edges of vision. Swings vibrate slightly, and slides appear to move as if propelled by invisible hands. These overlapping experiences suggest that the playground is more than a recreational area. It is a repository of memory and energy, replaying fragments of past play for those who enter after dark. Paranormal investigators have documented numerous anomalies at Griffith Park Playground. Audio recordings often capture laughter, footsteps, and giggles that cannot be attributed to living children. Thermal imaging has detected pockets of sudden cold air, often corresponding with reported sightings and auditory phenomena. Experts speculate that the playground retains residual energy from children who once played there, creating recurring impressions that manifest in sight, sound, and sensation. Local lore preserves the playground's reputation for unusual activity. Stories of children laughing in empty areas, shadowy figures on slides and swings, and giggles echoing through the trees are shared among residents, visitors, and park staff. Some believe these phenomena are echoes of children from decades past, replaying games and laughter, while others suggest the park itself acts as a vessel for memory, preserving the energy of past generations. Despite its haunted reputation, Griffith Park Playground remains a lively destination for families, tourists, and those curious about its paranormal history. Visitors often leave with vivid memories of fleeting shadows on slides, swings moving without explanation, and laughter echoing through the trees long after they have departed. Griffith Park Playground is more than a site for recreation. It is a place where the past continues to interact with the present, where unseen energy plays among the structures, and where the echoes of Childrenus seen and unseen linger in both joy and mystery. These 25 haunted playgrounds remind us that childhood laughter can linger long after the children have gone. Swings move on their own, shadows dart across slides, and the